Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood. We are live in the Political Vigilante World Headquarters, somewhere deep inside a volcano. My name is Graham Elwood. You are watching the Political Vigilante. It is Tuesday, August 25th, 2020. Hello, Red Cold Kate. What's up? I know Steph is wrapping up the Jimmy Dore show. Many of you are going to be coming over from the Jimmy Dore show. I was watching part of it. Man, I wanted to talk about that Ice Cube thing. I really wanted to talk about that, but they beat me to it. I was going to talk about the other day. So Alien FX2, a Nitty Dragon, what's up? We're just going to say hello to everybody and get it rolling. We're going to bring Brown Placone on the show in just a jiff, folks. In just a jiffy, lube. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. I don't know why this is so hard to figure out, YouTube. This is how we do it. This is how we do it. Hello, Mattis. Hello, Gamer for Life. Emberg 33. Holly Home. Thomas. Universal. Little Rock. Elevators. What is up, everybody? Truth to Tweet. GN. Hippie Chick. Concern. Russell. Gamer for Life. Kate. Our moderator. Moderator. You don't know me, but I'm your moderator. Oh, you. I don't know why I'm singing Doobie Brothers. I don't know why. It's not my fault. 28 likes. Come on, like it up, like get up, like get up, like get up, like it up, like it up, like. Boom, 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 boom. All right, I am tweeting this out, ladies and gentlemen. Boom, 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 boom. What's up, everybody? Kate, folks, a great way to support the show is do what Kate is doing. There's a little dollar icon at the bottom there of the live chat on YouTube. If you hit that, you can donate any dollar amount from $1 on up. And your question holds there, and I will answer your question. The money goes to me directly. You're supporting the show. It's really cool, and I will answer your questions, and we're all going to share our knuckles for justice. Kate, I love Michael McDonald. More Michael McDonald. Oh, Kate, being the moderator for Vigilante Live. Doing my day, taking it to the. You don't know me, but I'm your brother. First time ago. I don't know. No, slide it into Kermit the Frog. You don't know me, but I'm your brother. Been here long ago. Why are there so many songs about Doobie Brothers and what's on the other side? Rainbows and love things. Sorry. Went all over the place on that one. Backyard politics, what's up? Braves game right now because of Hurricane Laura. Oh man, the Cubs are playing. I don't know what the score of the Cubs game is. Emberg 33. What's up, Emberg? Shave your knuckles for justice. Please talk Draft Jesse about the Unity 2020 rigging. Yeah, we're going to get into that. That's just ridiculous. We're going to get into it. But like yesterday, what was it? Sunday? I think we had Richard Idris on talking about, wow, Unity 2020 might be bringing in Draft Jesse. And now they're going to like stonewall him. And it just shows you how sophisticated the ruling class is and how I talk about. And I don't say this to like, oh, don't get involved, forget it, it's all rigged. I'm just telling you, this is what we're up against. It's like the private intelligence, and I've said this before, they infiltrate movements. Look, the private intelligence has infiltrated the Green Party more than likely. The intelligence runs both the Democratic and Republican parties. I have no doubt that they had people inside of Bernie's campaign. They have people inside of the Proud Boys. They have people inside of Black Lives Matter. Any organization, they're going to put people in there and try to disrupt it. That's what they're going to do. We know that. Do I have concrete evidence on all this? No, but I have enough evidence that they, if you watch all of Susie Dawson's live stream she did last summer, her One versus Five Eyes campaign, it showed all of these leaked documents. So that's what they do. That's their strategy, at least. So anytime a movement gets a lot of energy and power, they're going to try to subvert it one way or another. And they probably went, oh God, this Jesse thing might be something. So let's try to subvert it. Like it's just, boom. Sparky, what's up? Shave your knuckles for justice. Graham, be sure to have Ron turn in his Pennsylvania card since he hasn't seen the Deer Hunter. By the way, does the Second Amendment cover vegan guns? I got the right to bear arms, kid. Boom. He hasn't seen the Deer Hunter. You got to understand, Ron is to movies what I am to like indie music. Or just music in general. Like I know the big bands. I'm not really big on the small bands. So Ron, it's also like I was a kid when the Deer Hunter came out, and talking in movies and TV, everybody was talking about the Vietnam War. Even after it ended, it was talked about for a long time, rightfully so. And there was a fair amount of critique of it. Notice how we haven't any movies or TV shows constantly critiquing the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Isn't that weird? We don't have wars calling those. We don't have movies calling those wars immoral, unjust. We don't have movies doing that. Isn't that odd? Because movies like Apocalypse Now and The Deer Hunter, The Deer Hunter does not glamorize war at all. It makes it seem awful. And I was a young man and I saw that and I was like, I don't want to be in this at all. I don't want to be a part of this. And when I went to war as a comedian, I was like, man, this is as awful as they've always said it is. The intelligence agencies are fascist organizations. You got that right. Membership fees, if 3 out of 5 cadres are on the CIA payroll, might as well get a taste. We grew up never ever thinking that our government is a strategy against us and to control us. This is truly frightening. I know. Yeah, man. I'm an 80s baby. We all grew up on TV and movies. You couldn't have a conversation without referencing that stuff. I know. American Sniper is a straight up propaganda piece. The only thing American Sniper like addresses correctly is like PTSD. They address that correctly. They show, wow, this is what happens with PTSD. But even that, it's just like there's Hurt Locker, none of those movies, and some of them are very well made movies in terms of just the acted, directed, written movies, but they don't talk about. There's no questioning why we're in Iraq or Afghanistan. There's no like, wait, why are we spending trillions of dollars when our infrastructure is crumbling here at home? We have people living in tents. Nobody's asking those questions in those movies. That's by design. It's a thing I talk about all the time, the propaganda multiplier. I talk about this all the time. And I talk about how shaping American exceptionalism is really, really formulated in Hollywood. It's one of the reasons I don't want to be part of big time Hollywood anymore, because I just don't want to be a part of that. I'm not embarrassed of this show. I'm not like, oh God, look what they made me say again on Vigilante. No, I say this. This is what I think, what I believe. If I screw up on this show, I just say, man, I'm sorry, I was wrong, or I overreacted, or whatever. I get to own it. I'm not like reading something like, God, this is so awful, but hey, the paycheck's clear. Like, I don't have to do that. And Hollywood just forces you to just be a part of bullshit. Hello from Motor City. What's up, Anthony? Sparky, shave your knuckles for justice. The real Batman, Adam West, had a Gen 4 nuclear reactor in his Batcave. If you don't support Gen 4 nuclear, you're against making Gotham great again. Maybe we're talking about thorium nuclear reactors. I did a video on that about a month or so ago because many of you were like, Graham, you need to learn about thorium. You know, and I think it was Rick Shepard came on the show and talked, and I was like, all right, I was very against it, but I didn't have all the information. Military industrial Hollywood complex. That's such a great point. COVID is a psyop. 133 people liking. What's up, Riley Rage? The new movies are completely glossy, and all movies have CIA people to greenlight stuff in the scripts. Oh yeah, absolutely. Make no mistake. The big budget Hollywood stuff, the CIA has script approval. Make no mistake on that. Make no mistake on that. Tell JD about thorium. Yeah, I will. As a billionaire, isn't Bruce Wayne really the villain character? I know. I don't think so. But, you know. Thanks for coming over from the Jimmy Dore Show. If you just changed channels, hit the like, thumbs up button to move the show up the recommended videos list. Yeah, please hit the like button. Yeah, if you just joined us from Jimmy Dore, thank you so much for switching over. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. I know how numbers work. I have about 10% of Jimmy's subscribers, and I've been on that show dozens of times. You all know me over there. So I should at least have like 100, 200,000 subscribers. I have 71,000. Now YouTube is throttling me, but come on, do it. I'm done playing Call of Duty and Battlefield games. Good for you. That's a thing I really recommend because those aren't just like fun shoot 'em up games. That's doing two things. One, look at how great American exceptionalism. And two, isn't war just a fun video game? Doesn't it seem cool? And I see people like, oh man, I got a gun and I go to my rifle range and I'm just like, okay, if society collapses, it's not going to be Call of Duty. It's going to be for real. It's going to be horrific. It's going to be horrific. So I hope everybody gets that. And that's part of Call of Duty is all this American exceptional. You watch the videos for it. The commercials for Call of Duty that they play during like sporting events where there's a bunch of like younger, primarily males, but females watching this going, oh man, yeah, Call of Duty's cool. There'll be a Call of Duty ad. And then right after that will be like, join the Marine Corps. And they look the same. Call of Duty is a goddamn recruiting video. Isn't more cool? Isn't it fun? I saw some World War II vets speak. Some guys that fought in like Iwo Jima, like really gnarly combat, jungle warfare combat in World War II. At the end of the war where the Japanese were like, we're not surrendering. And they just dug, and it was just brutal. And I was talking to some of these older guys. I wasn't, but I was watching this documentary and these older guys were talking. They're like, I just want young kids to understand how awful war is. It's not a video game. Like these were like men in their 60s and 70s and now 80s who were still traumatized by this. You never forget it. I don't forget it. And I just witnessed some horrific shit from war. I'm not a combat vet. North American Ape, you're making Gotham great again. Watched Angel Has Fallen, nearly vomited because it was 100% propaganda. The movie was basically Russiagate on the big screen. Oh, yeah, of course. I was watching that movie, The Recruit, with Colin Farrell and Al Pacino. Came out in like 2003, 2004. And man, is the CIA painted as this great place. It's not showing the CIA as this like, yeah. Special Op, The Line, is basically Heart of Darkness Apocalypse Now as a game set in the Middle East. Yep. Don't fall for the propagandizing, folks. Don't fall for it. Sparky, what's up, Sparky? Shave your knuckles for justice. The Deer Hunter was purposely made to not be 100% accurate, partly because accuracy is expensive, but also to make it surreal, making it timeless. Yeah. Deer Hunter, I mean, Deer Hunter shows you the arc of these like young guys in this working class town in Pennsylvania. Like, we're joining up, man. all these noble reasons, going to fight the good fight for America. And you see what happens to them and how they get torn apart, by this war, and how it destroyed lives, not just over there, but when they came home. And all wars do that. All wars do that. You read the play Hatful of Rain. Hold on a second here. Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching The Political Vigilante. So I want to talk about this because we're really, this country is falling into a lot of conflict, and much of it is I understand it, because the police are just, they killed Jacob Blake, and there's protesting and riots in Milwaukee, and I understand that. I mean, I as much as a white guy can in this country, but I want everybody to understand how we've been so propagandized about war. So in the 70s, there was all these really good anti-war movies like The Deer Hunter, and this was brought by Sparky, a viewer of the show. The Deer Hunter was purposely made to not be 100% accurate, partly because accuracy is expensive, but also make it surreal, make it timeless. And I've talked a lot about this on this show before. In the 70s, there was a lot of anti-war movies, anti-Vietnam movies. There was Apocalypse Now, there was The Deer Hunter, and Full Metal Jacket. And these movies, didn't really glamorize war. Now you can make some critiques of them. They only depicted the Vietnamese in one way. They were just pajama terrorists or whatever. And that's a fair criticism they did not show the Vietnamese view on this. They were all just, terrorists or whatever. So there's that sort of, white American view, but they do show to an American audience at that time in the 70s that had grown up watching John Wayne and all these American exceptionalist wars. And we're so propagandized to think that war, and now you've got Call of Duty, you've got other video games that you folks have brought up, and it's Call of Duty is war training. It's really special ops and all this stuff. It's really you see how powerful the war training is, and they show these. Like, I watched a Call of Duty ad for a video game during a sporting event, because that's when they really show them, right next to like a Marine Corps training, and they look the same. And it's to tell people, hey, young people, war's fun, war's a game. And we're so dehumanized. I mean, we're so desensitized. That's the word I want. We're desensitized to what war is in this country. We have no clue, except the people that served in Iraq and Afghanistan. And that's why we have 22 vets a day that commit suicide. And I want to talk about why, and since the 90s and into the 2000s, but definitely since 9/11, there's been no movies that are critical of what we've done in Afghanistan or Iraq that I can think of. American Sniper, The Hurt Locker, those movies talked about PTSD and they covered those well, but they really were just like, look how great we are. There's no like, why are we spending all this money on these wars? We've been in Afghanistan for 19 years. Where's that movie? There's no documentaries getting made like that. There's nothing like that sneaking out. You couldn't make anything that didn't have some critique of the war in Vietnam and civil rights and women's rights. I mean, you couldn't just avoid those topics in the 70s as an artist. You just couldn't. As a musician, as you had to. Everybody was taking a stand. Muhammad Ali, everybody, man. You had musicians, you had to take a stand. And now you see how the American exceptionalism is paid, and all wars are awful. All wars are awful. And World War II, everybody's very glamorized. And yes, we were fighting Nazis. They were horrible. And we know what happened in the Holocaust and the concentration camps. It was awful. We know what Mussolini did. We know what the Japanese did. It was brutal. But even then, we don't really talk about how horrific it was for what we did in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. We're the only country to ever detonate an atomic weapon. We don't talk about that. And you know what else we don't talk about? We don't talk about PTSD that the World War II vets had. Now, they didn't call it that back then. They said, oh, he's just shell-shocked. But there's a play called Hatful of Rain. And it's about a guy that's a World War II vet that's addicted to heroin. One of the reasons heroin exploded in the late 40s and 50s is because the field medicine they used in World War II, when somebody got injured, they gave them morphine, which is highly addictive. So all these guys rotated back from World War II, and many of them were morphine addicts because the war, it was so brutal there. They got this pump full of morphine. If they got stitched up, if you could still fight, you went back to the front. And so guys came back with heroin addictions. And that's when the heroin thing and then the jazz and all that went around. There was a culture around it. But like that, do we talk about that? Do we talk about the 22 vets a day today now that are committing suicide because of the PTSD they've suffered in Iraq and Afghanistan? Afghanistan, again, is a war we've been in for 19 years. We've spent anywhere from $5 to $9 trillion. We have not stopped terrorism. We haven't won. Imagine, I say this all the time. Imagine if we were still fighting in Europe in the year 1960. Think about that historically. Anyone who was alive during that time. Think about that. It's the year 2020. The war on terror started after 9/11, 2001, September 2001. We were bombed at Pearl Harbor, December 1941. Imagine we're still fighting the Japanese and the Nazis. It's just this never ending. It's 1960. So there's no boom of the 50s. There's no economic explosion because we've spent all our money on war. We're still fighting. All that growth in the 50s and 60s, that never happened because we're still fighting the Axis. Isn't that sound insane? And the reason we're not, as a society, waking up to this is because they've propagandized all of us through Hollywood. All this American exceptionalism, no movies that call it. When The Deer Hunter came out, when Apocalypse Now came out, the end of Apocalypse Now, spoiler alert, they all throw down their weapons. That was Francis Ford Coppola's like, hey, this symbolic gesture, let's be done with war. Again, this is a spoiler alert. I'm giving you a spoiler alert. If you haven't watched The Deer Hunter, watch Apocalypse Now. The end of The Deer Hunter, he has a shot and he decides not to take it because he's done with war. All these movies, these artists were trying to say this is bad. Now we just got corporate propagandists. And, you try to make a movie like that's anti-war, they won't buy it. They're not going to, the big studios, Warner Brothers, Sony, they're not going to buy it. Netflix isn't going to buy it. HBO, that's not going to happen. You can make a movie saying that Russia's bad and blame everything on Russia. So we've been desensitized to war. And now everybody thinks, younger people, and hey, everyone's talking revolution and all this stuff. And, I don't know. It might need to happen, but I hope everybody understands that this ain't Call of Duty. You're not some first person shooter game and then lock and load. And it's brutal. It's going to be brutal. These protests in the street and what's happening, it's brutal, but this is nothing. This looks like this is a Disney parade compared to what could and might happen. So just realize how much we've all been propagandized to think that Russia's bad and everything, war's great, and America's always on the good side of things. No movies about the $21 trillion that just disappeared from the Pentagon. No movies about the 90% civilian casualties by the drone strikes, primarily by Obama and Biden. You remember them? They dropped more bombs than Bush. 90% of their casualties were unintended targets, meaning civilians. They only killed 10% of the people they wanted to. 90% of the other people they killed, civilians, so what? Somebody's dad, somebody's uncle, somebody's mom, somebody's kid, somebody's wife, husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. Sorry, that's America. No one's talking about that. No one's talking about it. These two ridiculous conventions we're having to watch. The Democratic convention, which ran a bunch of Republicans, and then the Republican convention, which just ran fascist wingnuts. Like, close your eyes during the Democratic convention and you'll hear a Republican convention from the 80s or 90s. And it's just amazing. So stop being lied to. Boom. Oh, turn off the idiot box. You got that right. You got that right. I hit some of these super chats. 418 people watching. Hit the like button. Maybe Jimmy just wrapped up. Hello. Thank you for coming over. Born on the 4th of July. Yeah. Again, that was the 80s. The 80s was about the end of the anti-war movies. That's the 80s was when the corporations started to buy up Hollywood. And so there weren't like artists running that. There was like, that's when the corporations started to buy up Hollywood. And Born on the 4th of July, probably the last one that came out in like 89 or 90, maybe 91, maybe. But as we get into the late 90s, and especially since 9/11, so 19 years ago, that stopped. Find me like a severe anti-war, anti-American, anti-terror, anti-war on terror. Find me that film. It's hard to find. All right, let me make sure I didn't miss any of the comments here. Ms. Hendricks, Shaving Knuckles for Justice. Have you seen Falcon and the Snowman CIA meddling in Aussie elections? Wow. Yeah, I remember that. That was the late 80s, maybe early 90s. Yep, CIA meddling all over the planet. That's what we do. That's what we do. I have to go solo for the podcast now. Tips? Thanks, dude. Big Baby Zubas, Shaving Knuckles for Justice. Have to go solo for the podcast now. Tips? I don't know. Speak from the heart. Be authentic. Be who you are. The training is brainwashing. You got that right. Shaving Knuckles for Justice. Ron might enjoy Catch 22, but as a millennial, he might be offended by Bob Newhart's edgy vitriol humor. Captain Major also had Alan Arkin. That's a good point. Charles Lindbergh, propaganda through the glorification of war. Yep. Sergeant Stubby, major pro-war propaganda cartoon. Yep. Oof. Nathan Shekelwood, the Lusitania had over 2 million rounds of ammo on board and no paying passengers, which got the U.S. into World War II. Operation Gladden was terrifying. Wow. I have a theory that America never truly recovered from surviving the existential war that ended in 1945. Yep. Aline, I was in the U.S. Army. More people need to know about fragging in Vietnam. Yeah, and other wars. Snork Y2K, what's up? I thought that the new Catch 22 TV series was well done. Oh, I haven't seen that. All right, let me read one more. Sparky, Shaving Knuckles for Justice. Kelly's Heroes would probably also offend Ron. Yeah, they also killed peace movements when this shit started. Oh, for sure, absolutely. They just wiped them out. Let me send Ron a link here. Boom, 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 boom. We're gonna bring Ron Placone into the Political Vigilante Studio World Headquarters. Ron Placone, ladies and gentlemen, will be joining the program very shortly. Ron Placone bringing some hot, fresh action. I don't know what that means. Jedi Mullet 77. The three real branches of government are Wall Street, military, Hollywood. Thank you, Stephen Hyde. Yep. Anthony, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice, Shim Shake Karaoke. Everybody plays the fool. Oh, nice. Sparky, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Nuclear waste fuels Gen 4, rendering it harmless. Oh, with regard to Batman having that. Sparky, at least the Gulf War had 3 kings. Yeah, that's the best the Gulf War got. Big Baby Zuba, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice, Big Baby. COD's last few games had lies, big fat lies. Thanks, GE. You got it, man. Oh, Call of Duty's last few games had, yeah, they just put, and that's by design, guys. It's not like they just didn't do enough research. That's by design because they know gamers they get you 10, 11, 12, 13 years old. You start gaming into teenage, early 20 years. So you've been propagandized as your brain is developing. They're teaching you war's okay. America's great. Only the Russians and the terrorists are all bad guys. It's okay to just kill. So, that's a kill. It desensitizes you to killing. They used to have to do that to bring you into these special camps and break you down in basic training. Now they already got you desensitized to killing because they got you playing video games every day. John Coyne, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Getting to watch Richard Medhurst, then Jimmy, followed by you, Graham, is probably the highlight of my 2020. Boom. Yes, we're going to have Richard on the show tomorrow, by the way. Karen Murphy, Shave Your Knuckles for Justin. Karen, please sing Every Sperm is Sacred by Granny Petrol. Yes, I will sing that. I will absolutely sing that. I'm going to answer a couple more super chats, then bring Ron Placone into the studio, the political vigilante world headquarters. Let's see. Big Baby Zubas, the German military industrial complex became our military industrial complex after 1945. Damn Nazis. Yeah, good old Operation Paperclip. And Operation Bloodstone, we talked about in Government Secrets. That clip just dropped, or will drop. Matt S., what's up, Matt? Thank you for supporting the show. Always look forward to high energy, Graham. A sprinkling of Ron helps too. That's what I want, a little sprinkling of Ron. Ron's my sprinkling. Sparky, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Global intel and military industrial complex control Hollywood because they provide a lot of free or discounted support. Tanks and shit ain't cheap. Oh, yeah, no, that's a great point. If you depict us in a good light, we'll give you, a film director, and I understand this because like the military has to okay you use any military stuff or get any military support, they have to okay the script. That's how it works. So let's say I'm a filmmaker and you give me a budget of, $30-40 million or maybe $50 million, which isn't that big of a budget in Hollywood. The Marvel movies are in the $150 to $200 million range. They're big budget movies. So even like a $40 million action movie, and you want to have a helicopter and a Jeep and a tank and this, that, the Army's like, well, you give us a script approval or just make sure we're shown in a positive light. And we'll let you do all this. And so filmmakers go, wow, all right, all this free action stuff. I don't have to rent the helicopters and then this. See how it works? See how they do it? Alan Flynn, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. What's your opinions on the whole South China Sea situation? We just keep provoking China. Not that China is like without any blame or fault. They're an authoritarian communist country for sure, but we're provoking them. We've surrounded their country with American military bases. We don't come at anybody with peace first. We need to provoke them because we need a bad guy. We need to justify. We've been ramping up a war mainly because Japan has gotten off of the petrodollar. They use the petro yuan. They stopped using the petrodollar. And they're trading. They're buying a lot of Russia's oil. And they're not using the petrodollar anymore. So if you stop using the petrodollar, man, you're enemy number one in America. That's that. And like, well, China does all this evil stuff. Oh, so do the Saudi Arabians are even worse than them. But we're okay with the Saudis chopping up journalists and treating women like dogs, and because they give us oil and they buy our weapons. So any criticism of China's is just complete hypocrisy based on all the evil dictators we've supported. We backed Saddam in the Iran-Iraq war in the 80s because Iran wouldn't give up their oil. You see? Ugh, it's so crazy. August 30th, People Party Convention. Jorge Ruiz, Shaver Knuckles for Justice. Hey, bro, when are you and Ron going to make an appearance with Jimmy? Thanks for the awesome vegan guns energy. Yeah, I'd love to come back on Jimmy's show. You know, we're all just kind of busy and stuff like that. Love to be on Jimmy's show whenever he wants us. He's, you know, it's all good. You know, we'll be there. Don't worry. Redneck Economics, what's up? How you doing, Stevie? I visited California a few weeks ago, starting to look a lot like West Virginia. Mass homelessness, oil rigs, and Trumpers. Yep. All right, let's bring Ron Placone into the studio, ladies and gentlemen. We got a late start. I thought Jimmy was going to end around 6:30. He ended around 7:30, but it's all good. Thank you for joining us from the Jimmy Dore Show. Here is from Get Your News On with Ron. It is ladies and gentlemen.
What's up, man? How's it going?
Hey, buddy, how you doing? Thanks for waiting, man. Thanks for being patient.
Oh, no, man. I was just like kind of chilling, being like, oh, I wonder when we're going to do this. And then I saw Jimmy was still going, and I'm like, right on. I too, I mean, I remember we talked last time on this show where we were like, yeah, you know, it's not a bad thing if Hollywood gets knocked down a few pegs and if they don't just keep making these big budget comic movies every year and that's all they do. But then, because I am a hypocrite, just like everyone else on this planet, I wet myself twice over the new Batman trailer. It looks pretty badass.
Well, this is the thing I've said before. There's nothing wrong with the big budget. Those are fun movies. Like
they are fun movies. It's when you evolve around it. That's the difference.
Yeah. The Marvel movies are fun, but that's when that's all there is left. I mean, right. That's it. It's just one big budget movie I stopped, one of the reasons we stopped Comedy Film Nerds was I was like, the only thing Hollywood is making, the big budget superhero movie, and there's like a new one every week. This is obviously before COVID, but like the biopic, the remake, and, they make some property, a video game or a toy into a movie. There's nothing interesting there. And the two most interesting movies that came out of last year were like Blinded by the Light.
That's a good one.
And the one with the Beatles, I'm forgetting, Yesterday.
Yeah. Which, speaking of which, great timing, Grant, because I believe Born to Run just turned, what was it, 45 or 40 or, yeah, 45. Born to Run just turned 45.
Well, the thing is, both those movies were made in the UK. Those were not Hollywood movies. That's why they were so interesting and inventive, and they didn't have A-list blockbuster stars. They didn't have $150 million budget. They probably had $10 to $20 million budgets, is my guess. And that's why they were so interesting, because they didn't need CIA script approval. They didn't have to tell everybody how great America is and never call out the wars. We were talking before you came on the show. Someone was like, "You've never seen Deer Hunter," which I was like, "Oh, that's because of your age." But in the 70s, there was all these amazing movies that were very critical of the Vietnam War. Deer Hunter, Apocalypse Now, and then in the 80s, you had Full Metal Jacket. You had Born on the 4th of July. You had all these movies. Nothing like has even come close to like that in the last 20 years since 9/11 about the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Nothing. We've talked about PTSD when the vets return home in some of those movies, some of them, but we don't talk about the waste of money, the 90% civilians that get killed by our drone. We don't talk about any of that in Hollywood anymore. There's nothing. You can't find a series on all the streaming services with all this amazing content. And boy, the episodic, format is so much more creative. I would agree. But even then, you can't get that series on TV. You can't get it. It's because they control the narrative. And then we were also talking about all the video games that just propagandize, teenagers into thinking wars are fun and great and it's okay to kill somebody. And then all the lies and propaganda and American exceptionalism that are pumped into video games like Call of Duty.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm too old for all those games. I wasn't hip to any of them, but I mean, I guess even when I was young enough, I wasn't hip to them. I've just never been a video game guy. So other people tell me about it.
I know people always, oh, you got to play this and that. I was like, I played the sports ones when I was younger, but I got too hooked on them. And I was like, get this game system out of our apartment. I can't play NHL whatever it was, Slapshot or whatever. I can't play that for 10 hours a day. But let's answer a super chat, Ron. Sparky, shave your knuckles for justice. Multiple NGOs are behind effed up shit around the world. It's not all George Soros, but he puts a James Bond villain face on them. Well, yeah, I mean, we found that. I found that out just by like talking to people like Whitney Webb about stuff with Epstein in general, and these non-governmental agencies are just all over the place. I mean, even when I was in Iraq and Afghanistan doing comedy tours, I'd hear about, you'd know, oh, that person has an Air Force uniform, that's a Marine uniform, that's an Army, whatever. And like, what's that person? Oh, they're an NGO. I'm like, what's that? Oh, just a non-governmental agency. Just this vague, just kind of float around, no jurisdiction, can kind of do whatever we want.
They make voodoo dolls of the bad guys that actually work. That's what they do.
Are you sure? Or
it's off record. It's off record.
Oh, how much does each voodoo doll cost?
It's not important. The budget takes care of it, but it's like $1 million. But yeah, that's what they do. That's what they do.
It's not important. The budget takes care of it is the most vaguey, cryptic, but that's how those guys talk.
Well, they got to pump out 12, 13 of these puppies a day. And so, you do the math, but it's important.
The budget will take care of it. I asked you a direct question. How much does it cost? Exactly. Line item stuff. It's all above my pay grade. Good to have you. Like, wait, no, whoa, you didn't answer my question.
Well, I can tell you this. We wouldn't have gotten bin Laden without him. He was itchy because of the voodoo doll. Yeah. So there's that.
So we got Osama.
So you're welcome. In other words, you're welcome, Mr. Comedian. Keeping you safe. That's what we're doing.
But, so voodoo dolls kept us safe.
One voodoo doll at a time. That's right.
Oh,
freedom dolls. Sometimes we call them that.
Freedom. Oh, okay. God, you just say, Bin Laden, freedom, safe. And those are your buzzwords for anything.
Wait. 9/11. All right. Now you're welcome. I got it.
And democracy.
Democracy, freedom, liberty.
That's just
choices. Do you like having different cereals? Thank capitalism.
Yeah, but
nothing but it'd just be Wheaties everywhere if it wasn't for capitalism.
So then our election system isn't capitalist because we only have two choices. It'd just be like Wheaties and shredded wheat.
Best elections in the world. Well flawed, best elections in the world.
I love this character. I love this guy. Just deep state Dan, just giving us every talking point.
You get to go.
I love this guy. This guy can handle. There's no curveball. This guy can't hit. I just lie.
You do on election day. You get to go vote. That's what you get to go do with your freedom. You get to go vote. I mean, unless of course you have to work or you're just purged from the rolls, depending on your income bracket or something like that. But otherwise, you get to go vote. That's what you get to do.
Being purged from the rolls, isn't that bad? Doesn't that undermine democracy?
I mean, again, well flawed, best elections in the world.
God, you're so great at making it sound like you answered what I said without answering it. God, it's beautiful, Ron. It's like, oh my God, it's like you're a shapeshifter. It's just amazing. It's just best elections in the world. Oh.
I mean, that's the best. There's so many people like that's just their like deflection when you're just, there's a big problem, which is, yeah, but best in the world. Do you know that? Where all have you been? Best in the world. It's the best. Well, I can tell you that. Best in the world.
The world. They'll compare it to just like Afghanistan and North Korea or something. Like,
yeah, best in the world. Where have you been? Nowhere. Why would I'm at the best. Why would I go anywhere?
Where have you been?
Best right here.
Can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. I'm going to go on record here saying I've never broken an egg making an omelet. It's not, I've never like, whoops, boink. It's, you pick it up and you crack it. It's pretty, you bring the egg thing right next to the pan. It shouldn't be that hard.
But technically you broke it to make it, right?
Oh, so every omelet is a broken egg.
I always thought that was what that meant.
Oh.
I might be wrong. I don't know. Like, do they mean you break it on accident? Is that what that phrase means?
Yeah, I always took it as like, you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. Yeah, maybe I've misread this whole statement all these years. So I always meant.
I think you might have, or maybe I did. One of us did.
It's probably me.
I don't know, dude. Maybe. I see what the chat's saying. I don't know, but I always thought Because they meant like you have to break an egg to make eggs. Like that's part of the thing. You got to like.
Oh,
yeah.
a good point. Because that I always thought it meant like, oh, you drop one and ruin it. But
I don't know, dude.
But no, I think you're right, Ron, because you're
I
right.
think I might be, but
you have to break an egg open. You have to do that to make any sort of egg dish.
yeah. You know, we answer the tough questions, man. We're doing the Lord's work.
But that's such a dumb. Then that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
It is a goofy sentiment in general. Like it is
without peeling it. Like, well, that's how you eat the egg. That's how you eat the orange. That's not saying you don't have to. Everything doesn't have to be smashed.
Well, Graham, nobody's ever eaten an apple that wasn't picked.
Right, but that's how you eat them. So it's
right. It makes zero sense, but it sounds like I just said something significant.
It sounds like direct and folksy.
Right. Like it's like that means something. Like if
can't swallow a banjo without chewing it, Ron. What? Why are you eating a banjo? What? A banjo? Just say it with conviction and like kind of lean in or something. And that, huh?
I mean, we're one step away. If Trump or Biden said that, they would probably guarantee like if right before election day, one of them just goes, "No one's ever eaten an apple that wasn't picked." Like enough of this country would be like, "That's profound."
Oh, I get it. He's right.
I feel like they're gonna get us out of this mess. I don't even know what the hell that means, but that I never thought about it that way. That's brilliant.
Just dumb enough to think that's a smart statement.
Nobody's ever just went up to a tree and said, well, animals do that, but no person's ever just been, I'm just going to start eating this apple. Why pick it? I don't think anyone's ever done that.
Yeah. And that's
unless they are on some bad drugs.
Like, but we're destroying the environment with carbon emissions. Nah, can't have a pizza unless you slice it. Like, what is, that's not even, it doesn't even make any sense at all. It doesn't. You can't have an apple. You can't eat an apple.
You can't.
Oh God, what are you saying, Deep State Dan?
You can't have pasta without hot water. Can't do it.
Oh man. Gordon Osterhage, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice, super sticker. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you for supporting the show. Danny Vela Perez, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Ron, you ruined my free lunch.
Did I? Are you a big pharma doctor? Were you over prescribing something and I ruined it for you?
Can't have lunch unless you open the lunch bag.
Can't have lunch unless you open the lunch bag.
Yep, there you go. That's why we get to bomb countries. What? That's why sanctioning's okay. Let's there's another one here. Hey, Mares. Shaving up. You can't have a gun steak without a Bible.
Perfect.
There you go.
Perfect.
How are you going to eat a gun steak without a Bible?
Do you have a Bible? Do you have a Bible? Do you read the Bible? Well, how else do you cut a gun steak?
Can't cut a gun steak without a Bible.
It was on the third day that he cut a gun steak. Before he rested, he was like, where's my gun steak? I need a snack.
Gun steak, yeah. You can't have a gun steak.
It's in Genesis, man.
Yeah, I know, you're right.
That was what he ate.
He ate a gun steak in Genesis. Yeah, I remember.
A gun steak on the third day. Then on the sixth day, he was like, Earth, done. And then on the seventh day, he was like, I'm gonna watch the NFL. That's what he did.
Donna Bernstein, Shaving Knuckles for Justice. There were 5 spouses murdered after my husband's 2004-2005 deployment. You never hear about anything that happens in our families. That's a great point, Donna. First, I'm sorry that happened, but that's another. I remember hearing about this. At this Marine base, when the Marines would go out for 7 months at a time and then come home for 6 months, and when they came home for those 6 months, the domestic violence was through the roof. When these guys came home from deployment, and even the female service, when they came home, their domestic, they had PTSD and they just would flip out, and the families had to bear the brunt of it. It's
very sad.
And we don't talk about that. There's no movies talking about that. There's no TV shows talking about that. We don't talk about that. We just go Call of Duty. It's insane. Sparky, shave your knuckles for justice. Don't forget to collect Ron's Pennsylvania card. He's saying because you didn't see Deer Hunter, which took place in Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah. I know. I need to see that movie. I know. It's on my short list. I gotta just go to the Comedy Film Nurse. You know what I did recently, Graham? You would be so like, wow, Ron, really? Because so I decided that this was one of those nights. I was listening to the church. It came up on my Pandora. Sometimes I use Pandora over Spotify. Don't shame me. But anyway, the church came on, and I decided this is a great night to get stoned and either watch Donnie Darko or The Crow, 2 movies I like a lot. And so I brought that up to my wife. I was like, "What do you say?" She had seen Donnie Darko. She had not seen The Crow. So I was like, well, we got to go Crow. You've never seen it. It's a great movie. She didn't know the story about how, it's a crazy story. He died because of a faulty, like the gun was actually loaded.
Right.
And so we watched The Crow, and we got The Crow because there was a free trial on Cinemax. You could get Cinemax for free for like 7 days. So we were like, let's do it. And since then, we've tried to watch movies on Cinemax because we're thinking, well, let's give it a try for 7 days, see what we think. And wow, lot of swings and misses here. There's a movie that they made where Nicolas Cage fights like a devil witch. Ron Perlman's in it too. It's pretty bad, Graham. It's a really bad movie.
Dude, there's a whole Smithsonian-sized vault of Nick Cage movies that you've never heard of that are just horrific.
This one's pretty bad. There was this other one where the Earth becomes toxic, so everybody lives on these like land ships. And that too, we made it through like 20 minutes, and we were like, this is just ridiculous. Yeah, we've just been striking out left and right with this Cinemax thing. And sometimes I think about all the good movies I haven't seen that I should be seeing. And instead I'm like wasting this bandwidth to see, well, I bet the third time it's going to be worth it.
Yeah, Ron, go through the Comedy Film Nerds book or the AFI Top 100. Just do that first before you go into like vampire, whatever, Vampire Doorman with Nicolas Cage and, whoever else. I can't even think of another actor that does those things. Big Babies with Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. LOL, Deep State Dan telling us what we need to know. Let's make sure I didn't miss any of these other super chats. Super chats. Thank you, everybody, for joining, and hit the like button. We got 487 people watching. Please hit the like button. Let's get the likes up to 400 or 500. And then I'm going to do this. We're going to do a little cool donation auction thing for Jacob Blake. John Coyne, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Don't forget to let your gun stake rest for at least 5 minutes. Yeah.
That's when it's best.
Hey, guys, you're going to make appearances at the People's Party Convention. I have not been invited, but I don't know. Ron, are you going?
I plan to go. I haven't been invited to do anything, but I'd love to.
All right. Somebody said, Graham, check your Cash app. Is that Venmo? Is that what you're talking about? My Venmo? You can donate to the show on Venmo. That's one way to do it. Just at Graham-Elwood. Sweet. Robert Gershaw, thank you. Mark Emberg 33 for the next anti-war pro-labor socialist comedy show on Zoom. Yeah, since it's not the Progressive Comedy Tour anymore. Red Economics, Star Trek Discovery talked about PTSD, actually talked about information that's helpful for those struggling. Well, that's good. That's cool. I'm glad they did that. Dino Pantalocus. I know I said that wrong, Dino. Thank you so much for your patience with names. I'm not good at many of them. Raon Placone. So Dino said Biden spent a lifetime enriching the Trumps of the world. Movement for a People's Party. Check it out. Thanks for what you do, Graham. Thank you, Dino. Thank you so much for supporting the show. Emberg33, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Can we have an independent roommate, Ron?
I don't know. I mean, right now, I'm going to be dropping another one of those on Thursday, and I'm pretty excited about it. I think it's my favorite one yet. I don't know if it'll be everyone else's favorite or not, but yeah, there's going to be another roommate sketch dropping on Thursday. I do a thing where all the political parties are college roommates, and so there's a Republican, Democrat, Green, and Libertarian. I don't know. I wouldn't know what kind of personality to give independent because that's pretty broad. But I guess maybe in some ways Ted's the independent because Ted's just like a regular guy who lives with them, who has to put up with their ridiculousness. I play all the characters, by the way. But yeah, I'm gonna be dropping another one of those on Thursday, and I'm excited about it.
Somebody's asking both of our cash apps. We're both on Venmo. It's at Ron-Placone and at Graham-Elwood. If you want to just donate to us one time, whatever, we appreciate that. There's a lot of great ways to support both of the shows that we're doing.
Thank you.
Kate, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Kate's also our moderator. Kate, thank you so much for helping out. It's been I think you've been helping out for about a month now. I appreciate it. My dad was in Vietnam, and returning soldiers were sent back home on ships, and at least soldiers had a week to decompress with friends, now planes. Now it's the Middle East was really what I saw. I mean, knowing my grandfather was in World War I, and I think I've mentioned this, and he wrote letters home to my great grandmother. This is in 1916, 1917, or whatever, 18, whenever that war was. And he was in, he was lucky. He was working for some colonel or general in London. So he was not on the front. And so he was writing letters home to my great grandmother, and they were really, and I think about that because when I was in Iraq and Afghanistan, and I'm not saying, oh, the soldiers today had it so easy. I'm just showing how different it was. And Kate's bringing this up too with Vietnam, is he wrote these letters and they would be sent. And my great grandmother, it would take several weeks for her to get these letters. And didn't know if he was alive, that was her only contact, right, with her son. And, when I was on all these fire bases in the Afghanistan and Iraq, they'd have these phone rooms you could call home. There was video chat, which is great, and great to have a connection with home. But it was really bizarre. I mean, just even for me as a comedian, I'd be over there for 2 weeks. You just get sort of, and then you fly home and you're back in the States, and you're just there's that scene at the end of Hurt Locker. He comes back from a deployment, and all of a sudden he's in this grocery store, and there's 50 kinds of cereal, and he's just looking at it and I was it was hard for me to adjust just being gone 2 weeks. And I was like, how does someone who's on a 7 to 12 or in some cases 14-month deployment just come home, and they're just on a plane and they're back, they're boom, and all of a sudden they're there. And like you say, Kate, in Vietnam and World War II and Korea, they were on a ship and got to kind of oh, we're safe, we're done. There was a little bit of a decompression, and now they're just kind of thrust back into it. And it's not even like the Vietnam soldiers who were everybody who had a side on the war, pro or for. And people now are just oh, are we still fighting over there? What's going on? Nobody.
Yeah, nobody even knows where we're at.
No one knows. We're in 7 countries. We don't even know. Every time I came back, I was like, does anybody even know that we're over there? I mean, I remember when I was over there in 2004 and 2006 in Afghanistan. And I'd talk to people, and they'd say, God, what have you been up to? I was like, oh, I was in Afghanistan. They're like, wow, that's nuts that you went to Iraq. And I'd go, no, to Afghanistan. And someone said, we still got people there? Literally. And I can't say it's oh, they're so dumb. It's they're deliberately misinformed. We didn't talk about it, And so that's a great point, Kate. So we got 500 people watching, which is really cool. Really appreciate it. I know a lot of you came over from the Jimmy Dore Show. Please, please, please subscribe to the show. There's 700,000 Jimmy Dore subscribers, and I have 71,000. They should be. Let's help get this show over 100,000 subscribers. Let's really do that. When you're on Jimmy's show and his chat, tell him to subscribe to my show, because everybody at that show has seen me. They've seen Ron. Subscribe to Ron's show too. So It really helps the show. Hey, Mares, shave your knuckles for justice. Make it Bert Post Burner Independent who can't stand bird emojis anymore, Ron. Nice. So you didn't know I was on. Yeah. Sorry, Karen. That's I say hit subscribe and hit the bell notification button. YouTube may or may not notify you. And also follow me on Twitter at Graham Elwood. I always announce on Twitter when I'm going live. So that's another way too. The road to 100,000. Let's do it. So I did a video last night on Rockfin that I dropped today about Jacob Blake. And I found out Jacob Blake is the nephew of a guy I played football with, Justin Blake. And I haven't talked to Justin in probably a good 15, 20 years. And I hope he's, doing as well as a family can do. And I talked about it last night because it was his nephew. And I have 3 nephews. 2 of them are 17, one's 19. And I can't imagine what it'd be like to know that see my nephew get gunned down like that. And my nephews are less likely to have that happen to them because they're black, because they're white. That's the horrific reality. Cops still gun down unarmed people of all ethnicities because our police are completely out of control, but it is decidedly out of control within the black community. And there's somebody put a video up today of a white kid getting shot with a taser, throwing the taser down, fighting the cop just going, hey, never shooting the kid. Kid gets in a car, smashes the cop never shoots him. It's just unreal. So
there's that other one where the guy had a knife and he was coming at them with a knife and they still,
Yep.
They just restrained him. They didn't shoot him.
Yep. And here's a guy with no gun who was just breaking up a fight, getting back in his car, and the cop grabs his shirt, and then when he doesn't comply, shoots him in the back 7 times. And now it sounds like he might be paralyzed. Yeah. You couldn't detain him. You couldn't say, oh, you couldn't, there's 2 cops there. You couldn't shoot him with a taser, any of the non-lethal stuff you're trained to use.
He was outnumbered. So you were worried that he was going to reach into his car for, whatever you were scared of, with his kids there, by the way.
His kids in the car.
His kids are in the car. So I don't know what you thought this guy was going to do going into his car. But even still, you couldn't restrain him. You had to shoot him 7 times. He's unarmed. There's more of you than there are of him. He broke up a freaking fight.
Yeah.
You had to shoot him in the back 7 times.
You just saw a young black man, in a tank top and saggy pants. So I had to take him out. And all these people are screaming. It's just unbelievable. How horrifying. How many people have been killed since George Floyd?
Well, I can give you this, this anecdote. I was posting yesterday. I attended the Pasadena protests because the city was deciding on civilian oversight for police. They did a virtual town hall. It lasted hours because of how many public comments there were, because here in Pasadena, just 2 weeks ago, or has it been 2 weeks at this point? Yeah, it's been about 2 weeks now, was when Anthony McLean got murdered by police. So this is basically just a weekend occurrence, pretty much. I mean, it was Anthony McLean the week before. It was Jacob Blake this week. And now it's like I was posting about Anthony McLean because I was there and I was talking about Anthony McLean. Someone commented and they were like, oh, well, blah, 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 trying to justify it. And I was like, well, why was it necessary? And I'm talking about Anthony McLean. I'm saying what happened, we don't know if this guy was actually armed. He ran, but that didn't give the police the right to shoot him. We don't even know what he had. That video footage answered no questions. And the person responds, and they're talking about Jacob Blake. They're saying, well, why did he try to get into his car? And I'm like, you don't even know which shooting we're talking about. You don't even know which one happened in my neighborhood and which one happened in Wisconsin, because this happens so often.
Yeah.
We don't even know which one people are talking about anymore. Oh, I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about Anthony McLean.
It's the sad reality. I can't remember all of the names. How hard is that? I can't remember the names. It's like, wait, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, it's horrific. And I just yeah, and it just really this one hit home because my high
Yeah,
school,
it's your old neck of the woods.
it's my neck of the woods. It's like I've performed and I've driven through there a million times, driving between Milwaukee and Chicago to do gigs. And I when I lived in Chicago, I drove into Wisconsin and did gigs every weekend almost. I mean, and it's just like, and also this is a guy I went to high school with, is his nephew, and I have three nephews. One of them lives in the Chicago area, one lives in Minnesota, one lives in Oregon, and this probably won't ever happen to them. The chances of this, because they're white kids, and the cops are just going to treat them differently. And if one of my nephews is like out of control on drugs, they probably going to just shoot him with a taser. Not that my nephews do that or anything like that, but I'm just saying, like, it's so horrific. So I just wanted to, there's the Milwaukee Defense Fund, and there's the GoFundMe for Jacob Blake, because he's going to need surgery. So I was going to, I have these two items from Chicago, since that's where, Jacob Blake's dad is from, because he went to my high school. I didn't really know his dad, but he went to my high school. I knew Justin, his brother. So I don't know. It's a small little gesture, and it's something I just wanted to. I have. And I'm going to give all the money to the. I can split it down the middle. I can give half of it. That's what I'll do. I'll give half of it to Jacob Blake's GoFundMe, and half of it to the Milwaukee Defense Fund, which is paying for protesters' bails and stuff like that. So it's a Chicago thing, because that's where they're from. I threw out the first pitch at a White Sox game, April 29th, 2003. So if there's any Chicago White Sox fans, I'll autograph this for you. And I will, this is the jersey that I wore. It's a throwback jersey, and I'll autograph this for you. So the first person to put $100 in the chat, and I'll pay for the shipping. The shipping I'll take out of my pocket, and then I'll put 50 in the GoFundMe for Jacob Blake, and a 50 in the Milwaukee Defense Fund. So whoever's puts $100 in there, these items are yours, and the money's going to those charities. So
how'd you get to throw out the first pitch? That's pretty neat.
Yeah, it was when I was hosting the game show on the Game Show Network, Cram, and the PR department. I was in Chicago. They'd fly us around to do these like press events, I was going to Chicago to throw out press events, and they're like, "Hey, would you like to throw out the first pitch at a White Sox game?" And I was like, "Yeah." I mean, I'm a Cubs fan, but I just love baseball. I was never one of these hate the White Sox. There's this division by a lot of, but when I moved to Chicago when I was 11 years old from Madison, Wisconsin, I loved living in a city that had two baseball teams that I could take the train. When I was in Madison, we had to get somebody's dad to drive us to Milwaukee, which is so I got to throw out the first pitch at a Chicago Cubs game, but I was dressed. It was a promo. I got an extra gig. And I did it as the biker mice from Mars. This is like a ridiculous story, but like they were trying to, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles had just blown up, and they were trying to compete with that. So this agent was like, "Hey, you want to throw out the first pitch at a Cubs game?" I go, "Yeah, but you got to dress up as the biker mice from Mars in this big ridiculous outfit." So I have thrown out a first pitch at a Cubs game, but it was
as Biker Mouse 1.
Yeah, as Biker Mouse from whatever he's called, Sparky, or they gave him they were trying so hard, and it obviously always fails. When somebody comes up with something original and cool, it works. But when somebody, so the Sox thing was through the Game Show Network, and so so if anyone wants to throw in $100, that money will all go. 50 of it will go to Jacob's GoFundMe, and 50 will go to the Milwaukee Defense Fund. That's the other thing too, man. I performed in Milwaukee. Like I grew up in Madison, Wisconsin, and we would go to Milwaukee. I would watch the Brewers play. I was at the 82 World Series game as a kid when they played the Cardinals. And then I performed in Milwaukee. I mean, countless times. I can't even think of how many times I've been in Milwaukee. I've done shows there. I know Milwaukee comics. I've partied. I mean, back when I used to party, like I had a blast as a young comic in the 90s in Milwaukee. So the fact that this is like, it's like a kid, somebody's nephew from my high school and in a part of the country where I'm from.
Yeah.
And it's also just like that thing of, white silence equals violence. Like I have to do something. I got to talk about it on this show. I'm not Joe Rogan. I don't have 1 million followers, but we got to say something because I just like, how would I look my black teammates in the face and go, oh, sorry. What am I supposed to like? It's so, we got to talk about it on our shows. We got to talk about it on social media. You're showing up at protests. I've gone to protests. We got to call. I want to do this.
Yeah, one, I will say, like, since we're on the topic, I mean, and it's not, there's still a long way to go, but, in Pasadena, because so many people showed up and because the public was just so loud. I mean, I was, this is my home. This is where I live, and I've been here. I've actually lived in Pasadena longer than I've lived anywhere else in my adult life. Because I've been a pretty nomadic dude most of my adult life, but I've been here a little bit now. And, it was really upsetting when it happened. I mean, the community was incredibly upset. And I will say one thing that, gave me a little bit of hope was that, the city has really shown up since. There were so many comments submitted by the public. They didn't let us comment virtually. They didn't have an open virtual comment session. They should have, but they didn't do that. You had to write it, and then they would read some of them or most of them. But there were so many comments. It took about like 4 or 5 hours to get through all of them because so many people were just demanding civilian oversight of police. And there was, of course, the protest. I went to that. We marched through Old Town, with exception to one guy in a truck who decided to drive at the protesters. It was pretty, it was very peaceful, and most of the community was applauding as we would go by, and some people even dropped what they were doing and joined us. And then the city council did unanimously pass a civilian oversight
really
policy. Yeah. There's still a long way to go because there are still some questions as to how easy it will be to kind of get the wrong actors involved with that. How easy, like they're trying to have these, they're still working out the specifications of, okay, well, what exactly does this board consist of? And how do we avoid conflicts of interest? i.e., are we making sure that no one that has any past involvement with law enforcement, we're making sure they're not part of it? I think at first they wanted it to be like an internal thing that reported to the city. And they're like, that's not good enough. It needs to be an outside members of the community. They are involving groups like the ACLU and I believe Black Lives Matter as well are going to, be able to have some input on this as well as get some of the civilians. I think they're looking for 11 to 13, civilian oversight members. So it's a first step. And it's a good first step, but it's, it's still very much a first step. There's a long way to go, but, it's uplifting that people want to move in this direction. So.
No, you're right. It is. And that's what people have to do. So I want to put up this here, especially if you live in Kenosha or Wisconsin. But if you live in the city of Kenosha, the city attorney's number is 262-653-4170. The Kenosha Mayor and City Administrator, 262-653-4000. The Wisconsin Department of Justice. And again, if you're calling from outside of the state, that's great. But it really counts if you're like, I'm a registered voter in the state of Wisconsin or in Kenosha. Like, I'm a registered voter, I'm a taxpayer, and this is what I'm demanding.
Mm-hmm.
The Wisconsin Department of Justice, 608-266-1221. And the non-emergency line is 262-656-1234. So I'll leave these numbers up here. This is just like, Ugh. And then people just like, oh, why are they burning down buildings? Oh, boo-hoo on your fucking buildings. I don't want anyone's a home to get burned down. I don't want. I'm sorry if I don't want somebody's home to get burned out. If their business gets burned down, I don't want to see that happen. But a federal building or cop car gets burned, and none of those things are as bad as shooting a guy in the back 7 times.
No,
would have used non-lethal force. I'm just so fucking tired of that shit. Oh man, they're smashing stuff. Yeah, they murdered a guy. Someone was murdered in cold blood, just murdered. Like, it's just insane. So,
well, it's like that meme says. Like you got to flip it when you're saying, oh, it's terrible that police are shooting unarmed black people, but you shouldn't go. People shouldn't mess with buildings and stuff like that. No, flip that. No, it sucks that buildings are getting, but we need to stop shooting. Police need to stop shooting people. That's the problem.
Buildings getting burned. Stop shooting unarmed black people.
Yeah. How about we do that? Like, yeah, that sucks that building got burned, but yeah, that means it's time to stop. It's time to stop. It's been time. There was never a time for it. It was always horrible, but.
And show me one video where an unarmed billionaire got shot or beaten or got somebody put their knee on his neck, or show me that. Like, it's so disgusting. So call these numbers: Kenosha City Attorney 262-653-4170, the mayor 262-653-4000, the Wisconsin DOJ 608-266-1221, Kenosha non-emergency line 262-656-1234. And calling up and saying, F you jackasses. I know you probably want to do that emotionally, but I'd say like focus it and be constructive and be like, we want this. We want civilian oversight. We want to defund. They don't get this guy better be charged and sentenced. Right now he's on administrative leave. Like, so, and again, hey, there it is. Kylie Johnson. Hold on. Kylie Johnson just gave, holy shit, Kylie Johnson just gave $100.
Aw. That's awesome, Kylie.
Yeah. For such a great cause, I'm so fortunate to be able to share, and that's what I want for Chris. I love you forever and always. That's cool, Kylie. So just email me at grahamelwoodshop@gmail.com. Email me your shipping address and I'll put that in the mail tomorrow. And I'm going to cover the shipping out of my pockets, about $18 to $20, I think, on a priority mailbox. And then I will donate 50 of this to Jacob's GoFundMe and 50 to the Milwaukee Defense Fund.
Good job, Kylie. That's awesome.
Ugh. I know the fucking world sucks right now. It fucking sucks. This country it sucks. And this country's centuries of racism and genocide and towards Black and people of color and Native Americans and not giving a shit about poor people in general. It's all coming undone right now. And it's awful.
Yeah.
It's awful. But real change is starting to happen, like Ron talked about, like getting involved. And this little show with, a fucking surfing hippie comedian wearing shirts that are a size too small. We've built this cool little community. There's 525 people watching. So it's like, I don't know. It's something.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something.
It's something.
I mean, we got to hold on to everything we got because, if there's one lesson we can take away from all this, and this is, like the pandemic and just this shit show of a year that is 2020. It's, we're all we got, folks. We are all we fucking got. That's,
And if we let the darkness win, man, we let the cops, the murdering cops and the white nationalists and the billionaires and the assholes, if we let them win, there's only one way to end darkness. You cannot have darkness where there's light. It is impossible. It defies the laws of physics. You can't do it. So peaceful protests, demanding change in your local city councils, showing up, donating money, calling, signing petitions, saying, no, I'm not voting for Joe Biden that wrote the 1994 crime bill, and Kamala Harris, who was a cop who put 120,000 people of color behind bars. It's like, you got to say no. And hey, I hope Trump loses. I honestly hope Biden, I don't like Biden at all. But I'd love to see Trump out of there because he's a fascist asshole. He's a fascist asshole. He's a scary fascist asshole. But the fucking Democratic Party not owning the fact, the reason we have Trump is because of the Democrats. So the same, like, we're not backing down from like defunding the police and police reform. Don't back down from this corrupt two-party system that allowed an asshole fascist, coked up shitbag like Donald Trump from becoming president. The Democratic Party let that happen, not Russia. The Democratic Party.
Well, now they're about to lose to him again.
Oh God, and they'll blame us again.
They'll blame us again.
Yeah,
they'll blame us again. And you know, like I've said before, I've said it on my show, and I think I've said it on your show too. I think one, you know, if we're looking for silver linings here, which is all you can do, you got to look for the silver linings no matter what happens in November, because it's going to be ugly no matter what. But like, I mean, I think a silver lining is if Biden is president, I think it's going to push a ton of people to a new party.
Oh, it has to.
Because you're not going to have the Trump boogeyman anymore. And now it's like, okay, this guy's doing the same garbage, but people aren't asleep this time. Everyone's saying, well, everyone's going to go back to sleep if Biden becomes president. Not this time, because there's a lot of differences. You know what's the biggest difference between now and 2008? I'll tell you two big things. One big thing, historic civil unrest at mass levels. That's one very big thing, which game over right there. Right there, game over. People ain't going to go back to sleep. Another big thing, Barack Obama was incredibly popular. Joe Biden is not. If he somehow slithers his way into the White House in this race to the bottom, people are going to be very, very much paying attention and saying, you better freaking deliver. And when he doesn't, people are going to be pissed. And they're going to say, we need a bypass to this horrific duopoly sham, because it is a total scam. There are a lot of people that have waken up to the fact, because of a Donald Trump presidency, they've waken up to the fact that we need true systemic change. But not all of those people have just been jostled awake to the fact that you can't do it with this corporate coup duopoly we have for a government. More people are going to wake up to that if they see a Joe Biden presidency and nothing gets better.
Oh, yeah. Because unfortunately, shit that happened in Kenosha is going to continue to happen with the Joe Biden, Kamala Harris.
Yeah, and they're not going to know how to handle it. They're going to say give the police more money and shoot them in the leg.
Yes, that's
what they're going to say.
Yeah, and people are going to go absolutely nuts. They're going to just say fuck you. So, you know, I'm. It's dark times, but I'm like proud of this little community that we've built here, and there's people who want to make it all better. And when I say you're all political vigilantes, I mean this is how all the little things we do, the getting involved, those of you involved with Draft Jesse or Movement for a People's Party or even the Green Party, whatever, man, you're out trying to do something. You support the show. I'm trying to get it out there. Kylie, thank you. You know, you're giving a little light to a really dark, awful situation. You're helping out in whatever way you can. And, you know, fuck.
Yeah, man. You know, just to my right now, my cat just took a shit, and I think she did it in solidarity. I really think that was her way of saying, I'm with you. I can't talk, so this is the only way I can show you. Don't wait too long to clean this up, but I'm here.
I can't donate with my paws, but I can shit on the floor.
So this is the only thing I can produce at the moment. And I gotcha.
Shave your paws for justice, Lucy. Well, Ron, while you deal with that, I'll answer some super chats if you need to deal with.
Scoop it like right this second.
Yeah, take care of that. Kylie Johnson, thank you. Again, email grahamelwoodshop@gmail.com. That's the email I use for my online store. I'll get your shipping address and I'll ship that tomorrow and I'll donate the money. Let's go through some of the super chats here. Yeah, Chicago Cubs crosstown, the crosstown classic, the Cubs versus the White Sox is a classic game. There's also a really cool thing when you're in Chicago. You can't do it this summer, but there's a one time of the year where Major League Baseball in cities that have two teams, they make sure that they never play on the same day, because they always want to make sure there's always a baseball game. So just a baseball fan, like in the Angels and the Dodgers will never have a home game on the same day. But there's always 1 or 2 days where they overlap. And in Chicago, there's always one day, usually, where the Cubs play during the day and the White Sox play at night, called the Subway doubleheader.
Oh, man, that's a baseball.
It is. It's like there's these core group of people who every year
they go to
both games. It's called a Subway doubleheader, and it is such a Chicago baseball purist. Like, you have to be so into baseball.
So, like, how dedicated are people to this thing? Like, do they really go all out? Like, are they for lunch? We're having a deep dish. For dinner, we're having an Italian beef.
Yeah,
and then we're drinking Malort no matter who wins. Like, it is just so obnoxiously Chicago.
It is. It's like old style at the Cubs game, and then probably, I don't know.
We have a cutout of the crime dog because he's a Chicago dude. We all dress as the Blues Brothers.
Yeah, it's that Chicago-y. Like,
we all see the exit because that's the way Al Capone would have wanted it.
Right. Everybody.
In Chicago, we are not fucking around.
They wear Mike Ditka's mustache or something. It's all that. It is all that.
In recent years, we binge watch Shameless.
All right, there's a bunch of super chats we haven't gotten to, so let me get to those, folks. Big Baby Zuba, shave your knuckles for justice. That's it. Me, you, Ron, MST3 style, MST3K style, riffing old movies. That sounds awesome. Kate, Ron, have you seen Sunset Boulevard? I could almost assure you he doesn't even know what it is.
Oh, no, it's a place in Hollywood. I know what that is. It's a road.
Yeah. Yes, Ron. Technically, you're correct. It is a movie, and I bet you couldn't name the first name of one actor in it.
No, I totally couldn't. But I can name all of the Prime era Jethro Tull members. That I can do. So, we all got our strengths.
I could not name one Jethro Tull guy unless there's a guy in the band named Jethro Tull.
There's not.
Okay, then no, I can't name anyone in that. Sunset Boulevard is a black and white movie from the 50s.
I gotta see it. It's on my list.
A Mares, make it. We did that one. Jason Milton, Shaving Knuckles for Justice. Love your show. Please do another show with Tiffany Fitzhenry about the Hollywood California elites rigging for Biden, and also about CIA agent Ellen going crazy. Oh, I'd love to hear that.
Us on the delegates.
Yeah. Yep.
They fucked us on the delegates because there was that little clause. Well, if the winners decided, then we can just go ahead and have our super delegates. So Bernie gets even less now.
Yep.
I still have hope in the world, but I have next to no hope in electoral politics. The only hope I have in electoral politics is that we end the duopoly, because you can't settle for anything but at this point.
It's the only way.
It is the only way. There is no other option.
You have to. These two parties, they're both corrupt. They both cheat. They both have.
It's a system. Oh, she's here. Lucy, I get it. See, she knows.
She knows. Sparky, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Maybe a good idea to have the ability to treat NGOs as enemy nations when necessary. They're as dangerous as most first world countries. Yeah, and a lot of them are involved in trafficking and awful shit like that.
No. The voodoo guy's a patriot. All right, leave him out of this.
The voodoo guy's is a patriot. Shaving knuckles for justice. Police follow unconstitutional departmental policies, which gives them a just following orders defense. They're following standard operating procedure and training. Yeah, that's why we got to restructure the whole thing. They're trained to do this, and then they give the just following orders, which is literally what Nazis said. That's literally what Nazis said. I'm just following orders. Nowhere does it say shoot a guy in the back who's walking away from you that you could detain with non-lethal force.
I'm pretty sure that's not in the manual. But yeah, we need to. It is the most ridiculous job. Like it just shouldn't. We need to rethink how it works. I mean, in any other like business environment, if somebody has a position and it's a completely ridiculous position that shouldn't even exist, they restructure the organization. That's just what they do. Why aren't we doing that with law enforcement? Why isn't there? Why does the person who pulls you over for a busted taillight or not having a front license plate, which was what happened with Anthony McClain? By the way, he wasn't even driving. He was the passenger. Why were they even bothering him? We don't even know. We don't know the answer to that. Well, we know the answer to that, but there's not a good answer to that. They were bothering him because he's a black guy. That's why they were bothering him. That's why they harassed the driver as much as they did.
Hey, Pasadena used to be a sundown city. Let's be real clear on Pasadena's history, man. Pasadena,
they have a bad history with police brutality. They really do. Yeah,
just overt racism.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
LA's not this like hippie town.
No,
LA's history is like there was redlining and all this. I mean, LA's like, come on, man. Like this city is nuts.
The beautiful part about LA is that everybody comes here. The horrifying part of LA is everybody comes here.
Yeah.
Everybody.
I know. Emberg 33, Shaver Knuckles for Justice. If when Jesse announces we should do weekly comedy shows for his campaign to have him as a guest to raise money for Draft Jesse, my personal idea. Great idea, Mark. I love it. I hope Jesse runs. Andrew Gardner, Maddo and Joy Reid squawking over DNC speeches. Yuck. Your take. But you know, Ron was on last week. I could barely watch. I've watched only clips of the DNC convention and only clips of this Republican nightmare. It's just, I mean, I don't know what is more preposterous. The Democrats bringing Republicans on, attacking Trump from the right, saying he's not good enough on war, or the Republicans calling Joe Biden his far left Marxist agenda. Like, I don't know what's like, I wish Joe Biden was far left. I mean, I wish he was. Like, I don't know what's crazier.
You know what would be funny? So after the DNC, Joe Biden's numbers went down. It would be funny if after the Republican convention where they're saying all these things about him, where you're just thinking, wow, I wish that was true. It'd be funny if they went up. Like once it's over, like they go, we did the DNC convention. Yeah, his numbers went down because, you know, people spoke. But then the Republicans, they did their thing and his numbers went back up, you know, because people spoke. It's like, oh, it's almost like we have two really shitty parties that don't actually represent regular people.
Yeah. Oh. All right, let's answer some more. Kylie Johnson, what's up, Kylie? Thanks again for donating.
As the all-star, Kylie, you're awesome.
You're awesome. As a cop, it is your duty to protect children. I feel so much for his children who are now so traumatized by the effing police. I'm so pissed off. Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing. Like, so many of these unarmed black people who were murdered, it's always in front of their kids. So they're like re-traumatizing kids, which there's high levels of PTSD in the black community. Like it's
Oh, I heard yesterday at the protest, and you know, I filmed some of it, but I try to be careful with that stuff because I always get nervous about like if somehow a video that I publish could be used to facially identify someone. Like I'm always nervous about that. So I try to be conscious of it. I try to always be moving or capture a speech or something. But they had some people speak who witnessed what happened to Anthony McClain. And you know, I'm talking about the Anthony McClain thing more just because it happened in my neighborhood. So I'm just privy to more of what's been unfolding with it. But, you know, they've just been lying to us straight up. I mean, it took them almost a week to publish the footage. And I heard these young kids, they were these teenagers just going, I can show you my phone right now. He never pointed a gun at them. It never happened. It never, ever happened. We don't even know for sure if he had a gun on him. We don't even know. People are saying no, that what they were saying was a gun in the video. It was actually a belt buckle. They're saying he threw some gun. How often do you throw a gun and it falls apart, though, when it hits the ground? Is that something that happens all the time? So there's all these very, very, very unanswered questions. And they're just saying, we have it right here. He didn't, after they shot this man, and the way the media's been reporting it, they went to give him aid. No. They George Floyd style got on him with their knee and cuffed him. They killed him in real time. He didn't die at the hospital from his injury. He died because they killed him right there. These teenagers are saying, it's right here. I saw the cop do that.
Right.
They pepper sprayed a 10-year-old because people were reacting to this. They're like, what are you doing? What are you doing? So they started macing people. One of the people, a 10-year-old kid. He was there last night too, by the way, the 10-year-old who was maced. They led some of the chants. These kids did, these teenagers. And, you know, in some ways it's horrific that they have to spend their childhood that way, that they have to be exposed to this in their childhood, that they have to be exposed to this man getting executed for no reason. That's their childhood. They can't go to school right now because of a pandemic. But, you know, in other ways, it's one of the most inspirational things in the world because they're not giving up.
Right.
They're fighting. They're out there. They know what's at stake. These young generations, they are going to kick so much ass and take no shit.
Done. They're done.
They are done. They are over it. They know that cops lie. They know the media lies. They have no reverence for anyone except people they should have reverence for, their neighbors, their loved ones, and the people who are looking out for each other. They get it. Yeah. They freaking get it. They are wide awake, and there ain't nothing that's going to put them to sleep. Nothing in the freaking world, especially not Rip Van Winkle Biden. You think they're going to go to brunch if that idiot becomes president? Hell no. And they ain't going to go to brunch
in my age group, the dummy neoliberals in my age group, the dumb Hollywood people, some of whom I technically am friends with them, who say stupid crap on social media. They just go back to normal because they want to go back to their 6- and 7-figure Hollywood incomes and pretend that, you know, we're not bombing 7 countries. And they just want to say, oh, well, only the Republicans and you know, Southern whites do bad things or whatever. Like they don't want to. It'll be my dumb generation will go the fuck back to sleep, but these kids aren't. These kids.
It'll be some of everything. It'll be some of your generation. It'll be some of my generation. Not everybody. Not all the Gen Xers. Not all the Boomers. Not all the millennials. But these younger generations, the ones, you know, after me, the Zoomers, and they. No way. Tell them socialism's a dirty word. They don't. What are you talking about? Shut up.
Yeah.
You watch Fox News? Yeah, my grandparents watch that.
Yeah, my grandparents watch CNN. My grandparents watch MSNBC. Like my grandparents watch CNN or Fox, and my parents watch MSNBC, and none of them know what they're talking about.
You watch that stuff where they tell you something, and then you see footage from your fucking neighbors that shows something else? Why do you bother watching that bullshit? They're not doing a service.
I know. Oh. Sparky, shave your knuckles for justice. A decent DOJ inspector should go around to police departments and review department policies, written and unwritten. Otherwise, they will never change. Yeah, but yes. But also, we need civilian oversight. Like, I don't want cops investigating cops. I don't want bank executives investigating bank fraud. I don't want the military investigating itself. I don't want that. I want civilian oversight. I want outsiders investigating this. That's what I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah, members of the community who report to the community.
Yeah. I don't want Les Wexner investigating sex trafficking. I'm sorry, you're done. I don't want billionaires involved in anything other than how they give up their money or we fit them for nooses. Like, I don't care. I don't want to hear it. Like,
I mean, the only time that has ever worked is when you have the media holding the media accountable. I mean, you look at heroes like Brian Stelter, they're crushing it.
Danny Villa Perez, we need to learn their names. Let's not be a Nancy or Chuck saying George Kirby or George Taylor whilst wearing kente cloth. Yeah, you got that right. Oh, Chris Walker, watch any RNC yet? Thoughts on the train wreck? Yeah, Chris, thank you for supporting the show. Shave your knuckles for justice. Yeah, like we said, it's just the RNC is just a disaster, and the DNC is a Republican convention from 30 years ago. It's just these two dumb old parties. I just feel like I'm watching dumb old rich people argue over whose country club deserves a bigger golf course. Like, I don't care what either of these idiots parties say. Like, it's literally like, what's better, the Cadillac Escalade or the Range Rover? We're going to debate tonight on NBC. Like, I don't care. This is the ruling classes, filthy little two rival cocktail parties.
It's like the RNC went for this like dystopian comedy that got rejected look. Like, that's like their entire thing. It just looks just weird and creepy and off-putting, and the entire thing. You know, Dan Fagan, the singer of Steely Dan and one of the main songwriters, he had the best assessment of just Republicans I've ever heard. But I think you can apply the same thing to neoliberals in the Democratic establishment. He just said, whenever you listen to a Republican describe their ideas, it just sounds like somebody describing a really boring dream that they had that has no basis in reality. It's like they were asleep and they had this really boring dream about, hey, here's some shitty ideas on how to run a place. Then they woke up and they'd be like, wow, clearly I wasn't lucid because I came up with those shitty ideas. That's our government. That's our government.
Yep.
They are at best a boring dream. At worst, architects of destruction around the world and domestically.
That's America. Dreams and destruction. Big Baby Zubas, those buildings, poor feelings. Change the laws. You got that right, Big Baby. Shave your knuckles for justice. Thoughty by nature, OPP. Trump is to the left of Biden on military and UBI. Sorry. Yeah, I know. Isn't that nuts? Like, there's certain issues Trump is to the left of Joe Biden on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and then there's issues that Biden is to the, like.
What I mean, I don't know if Trump, like, in words is, but I mean, he hasn't. I mean, his whole non-interventionist thing, he hasn't delivered on that.
Not at all.
I mean, he hasn't started his own war, knock on wood, but you know, he hasn't delivered on that at all. I mean, he'll say some things like, yeah, we got to end these wars, but it has been, you know, he has not delivered on that.
No, not at all. Not at all. Adam Gray, what's up, Adam? Shave your knuckles for justice. Thank you, Kylie. Here's my 2 bits. Right on. Yeah, thanks again, Kylie. Matt S, shave your knuckles for justice. Said it before, I'll say it again. You got a big heart, dude, and so do your fans. Thanks. You know, thank you. Thank all of you. You know, you folks make this happen. If there's 4 people watching, we're not here, but there's 511 people watching at 9 o'clock at night. It's past midnight on the East Coast. So I really appreciate you all staying with us. And thank you, Matt. You know, the people who, you know, come on this show every time we go live, and those of you who are just joining us for the first time, or maybe you come every once in a while because of your schedule, whatever. It's really cool. Sam Dean, what's up, brother? How's everything down in Melbourne?
Oh, it's his birthday. Happy birthday, Sam.
Happy birthday, Sam. Show Sam some birthday love. Thanks for the birthday wishes, Ron. You're funnier than Graham. Planted the seeds as ordered, mate. Well, you know, Sam Dean's a Toastergate denier, so I don't know if I can listen to a word he says. He just, so, you know.
The only website I go to regularly is samdeantruth.com. So
Toaster Truth.
Agree to disagree. Toastertruth.com.
samdeantoastertruth.com. Yeah, we're not going to get into a big thing tonight, but Ron, it just does it. There's some toaster things. We were in Australia, and I go to yoga, and I come back, and a toaster got set on fire. I don't know. It's just weird. When I go to yoga, toast just suddenly implodes.
The toaster was running its mouth, and you know, I'm usually a very I'm usually a very chill guy, passive guy. I don't, but the toaster was just talking smack on the Penguins, and
It's just weird. It's just an odd thing, It's just like there was that second toaster on the grassy knoll, and no one wants to talk about that. There was toaster 7. I mean, there's just a lot of questions circling this. And then Sam Dean, he's a toast denier. He's a toaster gate denier. So
they say that bread can't melt steel beams, but there's a couple scientists that dispute this, and I don't return their phone calls. But
yeah, a couple scientists just stopped practice. They just disappeared. That's weird. Anyway, just a lot of questions. That's all I'm saying. CR, Shaver Knuckles for Justice. Cop is on paid leave. Oh, Christ.
Jeez.
Yeah, he deserves paid leave. Sparky, Shaver Knuckles for Justice. Remember, don't say third party, say replacement party. Yeah, you're right.
Or say second party.
Yeah. Yeah, we need a second party. Anthony, defund the Pentagon issue needs to be pushed. Absolutely. Boom. There's another. Where is that? Okay, hold on. Whoops. I want to get sorry, McMindfulness, who moved my cheese. For some reason, because I missed it already, I can't get your super chat up on the screen. But thank you so much for the big donation. I really appreciate it. Please talk about Biden Republicans, Rahm Emanuel editorial.
Oh, that was so ridiculous. That was so ridiculous. I tweeted, it should be one of those things where you have Rahm Emanuel, and I tweeted this, where Rahm Emanuel's just like, this is the year of the Biden Republican. And then that Morgan Freeman voice comes in, and the Morgan Freeman narrator voice goes, actually, it was only 5% of Republicans who were considering voting for Joe Biden. It was all a bunch of bullshit. They were repeating 2016, and nobody cared.
Yeah. They literally are playing the exact same playbook from 2016, which failed. They lost with a less popular person. Like, say what you want to say. We all have plenty of criticisms of Hillary Clinton, but she motivated a lot of people. She had at least
speak.
Yes, she
could speak.
Yeah, she gave great speeches.
Said horrible things, but she could at least speak. Right.
I watched the convention. I was like, man, she's providing good theater. She's really providing good theater. And she ran on the, she at least had the first female president.
Yeah.
Thing.
Well, and in the debates, she could handle him.
Yeah.
She could handle him in the debates. Biden won't be able to do that. Or if they have debates, Biden won't be able to do that.
Yeah. He's
going to get destroyed.
He's not the first anything. Well, I mean, he's not even the first president with dementia. So it's like, what there's no first anything. There's no exciting anything about the guy. That's why they put Kamala on there, so we could say, well, at least, first black female vice president. Like, but she's such a corporate Democrat centrist, prison.
Yeah, his numbers went down when they announced her.
I know.
His numbers went down, and then they went down after the DNC, after the Joe Biden rally that they had, complete with John Kasich standing in the field talking about nothing.
And
how'd that work out?
And Iraq war liar Colin Powell.
Yeah, Colin Powell.
So are you kidding? Republicans to come out and tell us how great Joe Biden is at the Democratic convention? Like, it's just like it's unbelievable. It's like
4 Republicans spoke. The progressive gets 30 seconds, or excuse me, 60. AOC got 60 seconds. They gave her 60 seconds. By the way, she wasn't invited. Right. She was invited by Bernie.
Yeah, Bernie invited her. Tulsi didn't even get to speak.
Tulsi wasn't even invited.
Mike Gravel, where was he? They probably had a cop car outside of his house.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like, unbelievable.
Tulsi got delegates. She wasn't invited.
Yeah.
They just straight up didn't invite her. Like they're not even trying to be subtle. Like it's just ridiculous.
A woman of color that's a combat vet who's a major in the National Guard was not invited.
Get snubbed from something like that.
but Colin Powell was.
Colin Powell, we got time for him. And John Kasich.
And John Kasich. So John Kasich, a Republican in a field, was invited over a Iraq combat vet that's now a major, former congresswoman who lasted longer in the primary than Kamala Harris. Yeah. She's
not even, I mean, she said so on Twitter. She said like they didn't invite me to do anything. They did not even.
Hey, Tulsi, we told you, you can't reform this party from within. So are you shocked? They sold you out. You backed this corrupt party and corrupt Biden. And this is like it. I mean, I'm not, it shows how awful the Democratic Party is. And it's also like, this is what you get for thinking that party is going to fucking give you anything.
Yeah. I mean,
look at they did like Liz Warren, all of her selling out Bernie and all her pan ringing. They still, no, thanks.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll tell you what, man, I think that the People's Convention is going to be a good one. And they're getting some fun. I mean, Chris Hedges is going to speak, and they got someone else today. It was a pretty big name. Like I think was it Danny Glover?
Something like that. It's this the 30th, right?
Yeah, it's the 30th. And I mean, I think when they get some, kind of bigger profile people to go in on the electoral end, that's going to change some stuff. I mean, if they get like a solid commitment from like a Nina Turner, and then maybe someone like a Jesse Ventura, I mean, that's going to change some things. This could be a viable thing by 2022.
I hope.
And there was a 6-year transitionary period for the Whigs. The Whigs were done. It took about 6 years.
Yep.
And so if you want to be, technically, this whole thing started in 2017 when we all showed up to DC to try to draft Bernie to do it. So if you want to start the clock then, 2017, well, hey, took them 6 years. In our digital age, I feel like we should be able to do it in 5. So maybe, 2022, the ballot might look different.
I hope.
I hope too.
Me too. Good call. So me too. I'm assuming you want to contribute to what Kylie did. I'll add your $100. So now we'll have 200, and I'll give 100 to Jacob Blake's GoFundMe and 100 to the Milwaukee Fund.
Yeah, no, you got to throw another pitch though now. I don't think they're doing baseball, so I don't know how you're gonna.
Well, Kylie's obviously getting the White Sox stuff, but me too. If you want to email me, if you want some stuff just for donating to the cause, I'll throw like a couple DVDs or something like that and mail it to you free of charge for donating. So thanks for that. That's really cool of you. Thanks everybody for chipping in. All right, let's Movement for People's Party convention is August 30th at 4 p.m. Eastern. Watch it on Jimmy Dore's channel, peoplesparty.org. Hedges, Gravel, West, Turner. Ooh, I love it. Jimmy Dore, Danny Glover, Ryan Knight, Lauren.
Yeah, Danny Glover.
That's awesome.
Lauren Ashcraft's doing something there.
That's great.
So, if they got that, like all those progressives that tried to break in, if they got all them to like just commit to being MPP candidates, that'd
be fantastic.
That'd be something to reckon with.
The Movement for People's Party could have a great convention. That could be a for real thing, man. If movement, people are ready for it. It could happen quicker than we think.
Yeah.
People are so ready for this, and they're so like nothing. No one's excited about Joe Biden, like nobody, and everybody hates Trump. So it's just like it could really like this is the solution. Yeah. We're done with your whole system. We're done with your police. We're done with your corrupt two parties. We're done with your war machine. We're done with all of it. And this is how we're telling you to suck it. Move the People's Party. I would love that, man. I would absolutely love it if they did that. Like everybody
I would too.
Here it is. And this is the thing that actually got people rallied. There's all this darkness in the where people are like, this is the movement.
Yeah.
This is what's going down.
Well, sometimes you realize it's like, Pat the Burner said this on my show when we were talking about it. If we could just get, and I know these usually aren't, but we are 2 billionaires away from being able to create an entire mutual aid network that would just render the federal government meaningless.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not an unattainable thing. And maybe we're not going to get any billionaires, but it's like if we somehow got those resources, and got some people involved, I mean, we could just build our own healthcare system, build our own mutual aid healthcare system.
And we already have cryptocurrency. We're like, if everybody just started using crypto and build our own system, we could just buy Federal Reserve, buy liars, buy corrupt everything. We're done.
Yeah.
We're done. We're just saying goodbye to we just buy. Go.
Yeah. See you later.
Go eat it. Go choke each other out at your filthy country clubs. We're done. We're done.
We have all our needs met without you. We have locally sourced food. We're supporting our farmers. We have doctors in our network. We have our own system. We have, when you think about it, like you just meet all those basic needs and it's like, see ya. We're not part of your club anymore. We're not part of your club anymore. You'll get our rent money. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. And once we figure out how to cut you out of that too, we freaking will.
We will. We absolutely will. Like, we'll create our own Uber, or we'll create our own whatever. Like,
that's already going to happen.
Yeah.
That's already. When Lyft was, we're going to go because you're trying to make us treat our drivers like employees. I was like, go ahead and go, Lyft.
Bye.
Go ahead. Goodbye. Because someone's going to come up with some sort of open source style app that's going to render Uber and Lyft meaningless. As soon as they do it, bye-bye. See you later. They already have stuff like that in other countries.
Dude, we've been on them. We were on one in Australia.
Yeah, we were on one in Australia. It was like Kiwi Lyft or something. Kiwi, what was it called?
It's Kiwi or something like that.
Yeah, it was great.
Kiwi would be New Zealand. But I was on one. There's this really one Yandex in Russia. And look, man, the United States government is they're going to probably create their own cryptocurrency. Fine, whatever. Nobody cares because everybody's using Bitcoin and Ethereum and whatever else. So we don't care. I'm ready for that. And I'm ready. That's the other thing why I have so much faith in the really young, because they're just like, good, great. We're going to learn this. We're going to do it. We're done. Bye.
Yeah.
Mona Carmona, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Graham, I just got to say hi. Hello, Mona. And that you're so amazing and genuine. Can't wait to watch you tomorrow. You're the best. Thank you so much, sweetie. I really appreciate that. I appreciate all the support. Big Baby Zuva, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Did you see Trump's basically say Bernie would have won? Of course. They all know it. That's why they had to stop him so hard. That's why they must have threatened his family or something. That's why he's just stepped down and just quit in the middle of all this crap. Big Baby Zubas again. Ever play Fallout? If not, watch Oxhorn. Great games. I'm not a gamer, so I don't know.
I don't know what any of that is.
I don't know anything that you just said. But live long and prosper. I know how to say that. That's from a movie. Oh,
it's not a game either. They probably made a Star Trek game at some point. I'm sure they've made tons.
They had to have made a Star Trek.
They had to have made tons, but
come on. DC, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Met the two of y'all in Houston last time. It was a great.
That was such a fun show.
Houston, that was a great club. We had so much fun in Houston. The whole Texas run was a blast.
Yeah, that was a really fun run.
Like, we didn't have a huge turnout, but the people that showed up in San Antonio were so fired up.
Yeah.
It was like one of the best shows I've ever done in front of like 25 people. And
then
we hung out for like an hour or two after the, like everybody.
Karaoke.
Yeah, that's right. We sang karaoke.
Yeah.
It was so fun. That was such Texas was so awesome, man.
Yeah, Texas was a blast.
We'll be back next summer. Met the two of y'all in Houston last time. Y'all came through. You're definitely from Texas. You've said y'all twice in one sentence and brought up the Libertarian Socialist Caucus.
I remember that.
Mutual aid is what we're all about. Right on, man. Right on. Thank you for supporting the show, DC. And we'll be back through Texas. Next time we're going to hit, we'll do Dallas, Houston, and Austin.
Yeah, I learned that Dallas and Fort Worth aren't like Minneapolis, St. Paul. I realized that's not the same thing. I didn't know it wasn't. I honestly didn't know it wasn't. But people were like,
LA and San Diego. It's like it's more like LA and San Diego. Like it's really they're two very separate.
It's like an hour, right?
Sure.
I think it's like an hour. Which I mean, in Texas, that's like nothing because it's a huge state. But yeah, they're not. It's not like there's just a river and you can cross a bridge. I thought that was what it was. That's totally not what it is.
The show in Fort Worth was great. We have no complaints. It was a great show.
Oh, it was a blast. I just didn't realize. Like, I was like, oh, the river right there, that's Dallas, right? And they were like, what are you talking about? No. Dallas is an hour away. I was like, oh, I didn't. Okay.
Right. So next time we'll do Dallas.
We'll do Dallas next time.
Jersey girl, shave your knuckles for justice.
For Jersey girl.
Kamala is from Westmont, Quebec, Canada, one of the wealthiest neighborhoods in Canada. Her neighbors were the Seagrams and current Prime Minister of Canada's Trudeau. All skin folk aid skin folk. Kamala's a cop. Yeah, I know. I know. She's all right. There's some super chats I know I haven't gotten to. Yeah, I think I need to Thoughty by nature OBP. Thank you for acknowledging the left uses tragedy as solidarity. Enough said. Thanks. Yeah, unfortunately that's the way it is, but it also is a good thing that the left is like, okay, we're gonna pull together on this. You know, when there's a tragedy, we're not gonna fracture. We're gonna pull together, and that's what gives me some hope. Danny Vela Perez, Shaver Knuckles for Justice. Graham and Ron, I love you both. Ron, you didn't catch it. There's no free lunch joke. Anyway, I'm just a comedian wannabe. Sorry, we missed.
Oh, wait, I missed it. What is it? Explain it. I didn't, because I was thinking the no free lunch and the big pharma thing. Like you don't, you get, like no free lunch. Like you don't take bribes from pharma executives.
Oh, maybe.
I missed it. I don't know what it means.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But you can't eat an orange without pulling it down from a tree.
That's what it was. Okay, I got it.
Sorry, we missed it. Big Baby Zuba, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Walks around Chicago with Red Wings jersey. What up? That's funny. Sparky, thank you again, Sparky. Only way to end duopoly is ranked choice voting. Yeah, it's one of the great. I'm a big fan of ranked choice voting.
That's another thing we need. Yeah,
it's another thing we need. Like there's a bolt. We've talked about this before. There's a lot of solutions. There's ranked choice voting, and then just circumventing the dump two parties. But ranked choice voting, I'm a huge proponent of. It's something everybody in every state, in all of our states, should be pushing for. Tony, Shaving Knuckles for Justice. What do you guys say to progressives saying vote for Biden because they'd rather fight him? I think the lesser evil argument is such garbage. If that's the people who were saying that, like, Trump is an evil, scary fascist, but at least with Biden in there, we can really go after him hard and he'll try to listen or something. Like, I don't think, and the people will say you're going to pull him to the left. You're not going to pull him to the left, but you'd rather fight Biden than crazy Trump. I at least understand that argument. I at least get it. And you're not blaming, when they blame progressives, you guys are going to let Trump win. Shut up. The Democratic Party is failing. But the people were like, look, whatever. I've talked to someone like, hey man, I voted for Bernie in the primary. Trump is such a scary fascist that I would rather have Biden, and yet we yell at Biden, we hold him accountable, and we get him out of there in 4 years with a real progressive, or maybe, I don't know. I at least get that. I at least get that argument. Like, blaming the voters because we're not happy that the party has given us nothing that we've asked for is ridiculous. But that argument I at least understand.
Yeah, I mean, I echo that. I think that's just the best way to put it. I mean, I don't blame voters one way or the other, because, I mean, I think blaming voters for the system that gave them these horrific choices, it's like, no, you need to blame the system, not blame the voters. Different people are going to make different judgment calls. Some people are going to hold their nose and vote for Biden. Some people aren't. If Trump wins again, it will not be the fault of progressives. I can promise you that. If Trump doesn't win again, it won't be because of progressives either. I can tell you that. It'll be because Donald Trump beats himself, because this is not a competition. This is not an election.
It's not Donald Trump versus Joe Biden. It's Donald Trump versus himself. And if Donald Trump does something absolutely ridiculous that costs him the election, Joe Biden will become president. If Donald Trump doesn't, Donald Trump's still going to be president. And it's the fault of the system that we have this horrific corporate coup scam situation in the first place. So to me, it's almost like a big forest fire is coming down at us. Like we're standing on the bottom of a hill or something. There's a forest fire up ahead and it's coming down at us. And someone shows up and in one hand, they have a Dixie cup of warm water. And in the other hand, they have a twig and they go, pick the lesser evil.
Yeah.
And you go, I don't think either one of those is the solution we need. So, you go ahead. We got to figure something else out. They're like, you're an idiot. It's like, well, if you think I'm an idiot, then I guess you don't care what I think on this. So you have fun with your lesser evil thing over here. And at the end of the day, we need a real solution, and it's not either of those. So
yeah,
that's my take on it.
There's a forest fire coming down the hill. I'm going to get in a boat and get on the lake and get out of there. So good luck with the Dixie cup. Sparky, shave your knuckles for justice. People should be aware that for over 10 years, police cars passively scan license plates and alert if there's any warrants or APBs associated with them. Oh, God. Sam Dean again. Pro tip, adopt a retired drug sniffer dog to find fun new friends at parties. Thanks, Sam. That's good advice. Sparky, whoever works can inspect. There are hundreds of thousands of unconstitutional, unethical police department standard operating procedures. That's my point. Oh, I see. I get your point, Sparky. Thank you. Big Baby Zubas. What's up, Big Baby? Ever play Fallout? If not, we did that one or whatever.
Unless he asked twice.
Unless
he's like, you sure you didn't play this game? Think real hard.
Oh. Chris Hedges is speaking at the People's Party.
Yes, he is.
Right on. Thank you for letting us know about that. Backyard Politics. Check out her show. Great indie journalist. Let's get all right. Make sure we don't. Make sure I got all these. Okay. Big Baby Zubas, what's up? Shave your knuckles for justice. Fallout's famous quote, war never changes. Okay, last one. All right, thanks, man. Thank you. 482 watching. Please hit the like button. Chris Walker, shave your knuckles for justice. Check out Skamocho on YouTube for funny political songs.
Oh, cool. Let's check it out.
Shmo Yoho.
Shmo Yoho.
I will. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh, Lucy's really about that channel.
Yeah, she recommends it, apparently.
Thanks, Lucy. Adam Gray, all the love, all the fire, all the justice, and some other symbols I can't understand. Movement for a People's Party. Thank you, Adam Gray. Really appreciate the show. After the Koch brothers flipped the Republican Party and bought them in 2008 to become climate deniers, Kasich is one of the few who said, screw everything, Ohio is going to use fossil fuels. Great.
Yeah, he's a terrible guy. I mean, politically, he is just the GOP. Yeah. He just talks like he has a folksy attitude.
Folksy. I'm so
and people like him in the Midwest because he's like I think he's actually from Pittsburgh, my hometown. I think that's where he's actually from, but he's spent a lot of time in Ohio. And yeah, so they're like, oh, Kasich, he's not so bad. Really? Name one thing he did that wasn't so bad. He just tried to outlaw abortion in Ohio like last week. What's one thing he did that's not so bad? Oh, he sounds nice. He sounds nice. Like someone you want to
folksy. Like
you might want to have a beer with him, like George W. Bush. Everyone said that about him.
I don't want to have a beer with him.
I don't either.
I don't want to hang out with any of these people.
No, I really don't either.
Healthcare. End these wars, save the planet, and shut up and get out of my way. I don't want to hang out with you. I don't want to
Yeah.
sit with you. I don't want to know you. Do your damn job, or wax your neck. Like, get out of my way. I just I don't care.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Give us health care. Do something about climate change. End the wars. And then fuck off 6 ways to Sunday.
Yeah. And get us free college while you're on your way out. While you're going off out the back.
Yeah. While you're fucking off, get us free college. And living wages. But then fuck all the way off.
Fuck all the way off.
Not partially, all the way. Really live it through.
I did for you. Shut the fuck up.
Text me and let me know you got home safe after you're done fucking all the way off.
Make sure you fuck off the whole way.
But make sure you fucked off the whole way home and stay fucked off.
Stay fucked
off.
Don't
fuck back on. Just fuck off. Stay fucked off. Be safe, but just stay fucked off.
Never
all the way.
Fuck back on. Ever. Stay fucked off.
I want your fuck off meter to stay at 11. There was just skip 10, just all the way up to 11. Stand in your little crossroads, which, by the way, as a Robert Johnson enthusiast, I found that mildly offensive. But stand in your little crossroads and fuck all the way off and just never leave. Just stay there. Just stay there, fucked all the way off.
Oh, yeah. And I'm paying you $20,000 a year. And shut your mouth. Shut it, or I'll cut it in half, you asshole. And
there's no benefits either, by the way, fucked off guy. You know why? Because it's your right to work.
Yeah.
Now piss off.
So get us free health care. If you want benefits for your $20,000 a year government job, then get the fuck out of here and go get us fucking health care and shut the fuck up.
Yeah. And still fuck off. And then piss off. After you're done fucking off, piss off all the way to 11. Do that.
While shutting the fuck up.
While shutting the fuck up. Shut the fuck up for all of it.
Yeah.
Signed registered voter from your district.
Yes. This is our message to every politician in both parties. I hope you heard it. I hope you gleaned the message. But go fuck off. Shut the fuck up. Piss off and get these fucking jobs done and still shut the fuck up and go fuck yourself. Sparky, shave your knuckles for justice. Kamala identified as Indian until politics. Yeah, of course. Of course. Danny Villa Perez. Boom. Yep. Dallas and Fort Worth. Not the same. Cross the puny Trinity River. Want to see you guys in Dallas. You got to
be there.
Next summer, that's the goal. We're going to hit the whole country in 5 weeks and do as many shows as we possibly can do. All right. Hold on. All right, it's been over 2 hours. I'm getting hungry. I'm going hungry.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Eating Sam Dean, shave your knuckles for justice. To save the world from COVID-19, you got to eat Ron. Ron gives you his consent. Now sort it out. Every once in a while, once a month, Sam does some type of cannibalism. Would you rather
That's a shtick.
Yeah, that's everyone. He doesn't do it a lot. He just sneaks every once in a while. He's like, would you do something, eat another human being if it would save the planet or there's always some insane, now I have to eat Ron to save COVID-19. No.
To save it, preserve it or end it?
To end it.
We gotta keep it around by eating me.
Yeah. I don't mind eating Ron. What? That sounds weird.
Neither does she. I have a cat on my lap right now.
What's up, cat?
It's just their instinct. If I ever fell and broke my neck or something, she would just eat me to survive.
Good.
That's just.
It's recycling.
No, they get it. They're like, well, you're not using your body. You want me to be okay, so I'm gonna eat you, and then eventually someone's gonna find me, and I get a home,
Yeah, you're dead. I'm hungry. I don't see the hassle.
Yeah,
it's good to know. Sparky, Ron's deafening silence pops up props up Pompeo and Haspel. What? Not sure I get that.
It was me.
Oh. Ron's not.
I don't know.
Ron's not calling out the CIA enough, I guess. DC. Check out Aaron Sorsey Adair for dope leftist jams. Ooh, cool. Thanks. Mona Carmona's going to bed. Good night, Mona. Have a good night. I know it's late for everybody. Sheldon Deer. What's up, Sheldon? If cryptocurrency project automated anonymous donations to normal maps and DPA, would you all be interested building something unique? Hit me up. Absolutely, dude. If that's what you're doing, and I'm starting to know more and more about crypto, like every day I watch a little some crypto videos on, I just converted some cash to Bitcoin.
Yeah, I still got to learn more about it. I mean, I'm still sort of a novice.
I started watching Bitcoin.com's that company has a YouTube channel, and there's like a Bitcoin 101, and I kind of started there. I watched some of the Rich Dad Poor Dad videos because he's kind of waking up to it now. I'm a big capitalist and all that, so they got to sort through some of that. And then I started watching this woman, Crypto Casey. She's pretty straightforward, pretty knowledgeable. But anyway, Sheldon, yeah, I'm totally down with this. If that's what you're talking about, and I kind of understand this aspect of it. So you're talking about like either creating or mining a token or something like that funds. I'm so down with that. Anything that, as we were talking about earlier, that just takes power out of the ruling class's hand and puts it decentralized using blockchain technology and decentralized currency. I'm so down with it. I'm so down with it, dude. Emberg 33, you're doing Dallas like Debbie? Ha, come on now. Yes, we are. We're going to do the shit out of Dallas. Sparky, shave your knuckles for justice. Not only can Gen 4 stop climate change, it will give us climate control. The only wars will be over what temperature to set the global thermostat. Oh, that's interesting, man. That's really cool to hear.
Let's just leave it at 75 all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, turn it up to like 85 a couple days a year. Done.
85 a year, just sprinkle in some rain when we need it. When there's forest fires, we just like right now, all of California gets rain to end the fire.
Just a ton of freaking rain. Absolutely.
Well, not enough to flood, but just enough to stop the fires.
Yep.
Nathan Shackelford. Nathan, I hope you're making Gotham great again. My vegan guns are. Graham, you were talking about covert military operations. Have you heard of Operation Northwoods? No.
I haven't either.
Ooh, send me that and send me a link on that to either on social media, and then maybe I'll cover it for a government secrets episode. Cow dung was instant fuel, bro. Start a campfire anywhere. Saoirse. It's Irish for freedom. Oh, Saoirse Ronan. Yeah, like that actress. Shatner was all right. Shatner does. Let me make sure I didn't miss any of them. Sparky, shave your knuckles for justice. Just yanking Ron's chain. Yeah, we know, brother. We know you're all good. Yeah, Lucy's hungry. Everybody's hungry.
It's not her feeding time yet, and she knows that, but she just kind of plays this game.
Yeah.
Her feeding time is 10:30 Pacific time, because that's sort of like the safe, if I had a gig, that's when I would get home estimate. So that's like a good time to feed her. Or if I'm home, like that's just a good time to feed her. But so right around now is when she's like, well, what if you just did it now? Well, I'm not going to do it now because it's not your time. And when it is your time, you're going to get fed. And
there's a camera on you, so she's going to act like, oh, Ron's abusing me.
He doesn't feed me. He never. Sometimes I just stop at her food and I'm like, do you think it's not going to happen? Because she'll get real excited and she'll get very vocal. And I was like, what do you think? Do you think for the first time in your life, like, I'm just not going to do it? I'm just going to forget. Like, oh, what happens next? Do I like scoop your food?
Do I do that? Or what do I'm just going to forget what to do all of a sudden. Like, it's for sure going to happen next. Why don't you just chill by the bowl and be like zen about it? But, get prepared for your meal. But nope, she's always vocal until the food hits the bowl. So you hear the sound of like, boom, food and bowl. Then she's got it.
Jorge Ruiz, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. I know we're in 2020, but any possibility of making a comedy tour show in the OC next year? Well, here's what we're going to do. We talked about this before, and this is our plan. Again, everything changes with COVID or whatever. But assuming next year there's some type of therapy or a vaccine or something, and everybody feels safe to go out, we're gonna just do like a 5-week tour. It'll start in LA, and we'll probably hit maybe the OC, San Diego, then jump over to like Tucson, Phoenix, Albuquerque, then go into Texas.
Yeah, we're either gonna go north, south, or north first or south first, depending on. I mean, if we do it in the fall, maybe we'll go north first. It depends, because it's going to be summer or later in 2021,
right?
Depending on what happens in the world. I mean, if it's safe to resume touring in August, it would be after that. But at some point in 2021, we hope to just, assuming it's back, we're going to just hit the entire country in van.
Yeah, like we start the tour in September. We'll definitely hit north first when the weather's typically milder.
Yeah.
And it's still sort of hot in the south. And then by the end of September into October, we'll kind of hit the south. Like that way we'd go north. We do like San Francisco, Sacramento, Portland, Seattle, then maybe go through Boise and hit like,
we'll be able to hit Colorado. We'll be able to hit like, we'll be able to, I mean, we were Minneapolis is one of the towns we canceled, but we'll be able to hit that up. And then
we would do Denver, and then maybe do like Kansas City, St. Louis, up to Minneapolis, Madison, Chicago, then hit the Midwest, and then hit the East Coast. And then, so anyway, we're going to,
so it's going to be more extensive than we were planning for 2020, because we're going to do it all at once. And then we're also going to hit some of the cities we weren't going to hit this year, but we were hoping to hit next year. Well, we're going to for sure hit those too. And we're even going to be able to hit some cities that we weren't sure when we were going to be able to hit, because they're not really connected to other things. But since we're doing a big old run, we're going to be driving across the entire thing. So,
and even like smaller, we were starting to kind of weed out the smaller markets because they just didn't make a lot of sense financially, and you have to fly there. But on a driving tour like this, hey,
we're going to have off nights. So some of the like smaller collegey towns that we really have a fun time playing, but there just aren't as many people there, so it's harder for us economically to play. Well, it's going to make sense for us to go there now, because we're going to have, we got to just hit everywhere, and we don't want any nights off. So it's going to be a fun time.
Atlanta, Boston, yes. Albuquerque, you heard that correct. So yeah, we're gonna because now if we have a night off and we're just driving, we might as well pick up a gig in some town and fill that date in, because then at least if we even just sell 30, 40 tickets, that pays for a hotel room and food, and makes a little money and gets us to the next town. So
as long as it's not doubleheader baseball in Chicago, we can't justify a night off.
Oh, we will take some nights off in the bigger markets to go watch baseball, like for shizzle. All right, folks, we gotta go. I am extremely hungry. Ron, what do you want to sing? You want to both sing Dueling?
Here, you pick, man. Let me know.
How about Dueling Eddie Vedders?
Oh yeah, yes, Dueling Eddie Vedders. I'm not, huh?
Love Shack as Eddie Vedders.
Love Shack is Eddie Vedder. Yes, let's do it.
Love Shack is a duet, isn't it? Or Ebony and Ivory, or Turn Around, Bright Eyes. Every now and then I fall apart.
And I need you more tonight. Yeah, let's do it.
What is it? Turn Around.
I'm gonna need to see the words, because I don't. What is the title of that song?
It's called Turn Around.
Okay.
Guys, and we'll do that as Eddie Vedder.
I need more.
Oh, total eclipse of the heart.
Basically, anything sung as Eddie Vedder is funny. Like that just makes it a lot more fun.
It makes it perfect.
I mean, I've done Cheap Trick as Eddie Vedder, which is a blast. Like I want you to
Hold on, let me see it. I don't see the colors changing. We need the one that has the duet.
Every now and then I get a little bit closer.
Duet.
Need more tonight. Sometimes he just like subs out like noises for words, and, like just whenever he feels like it.
Here we
A lot
go.
of vowels going on.
All right, I'm going to put this on my screen, so you should be able to see it, Ron.
I see it.
And how about, you want me to make it on the big screen, or is that big enough?
Can you like make the YouTube screen bigger, like just full size that?
I can full size that, dude.
That should be big enough.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right, we'll do the first. You want to start us off?
All right.
There you go.
Turn around every now and then I get a little bit hungry.
Turn around every now and then I get a little bit tired of listening to the sound of my heels.
Turn around every now and then I get a little bit nervous. That's the best of all the years that gone by.
Turn around every now and then I get a little bit Jeremy spoken.
Turn around, brother. Every now and then I fall apart.
Bright eyes. Every now and then I fall apart.
Every now and then I get a little bit restful.
And I just turn around. Every time I feel a will be over and I'm flying like a child in your.
Turn around every now and then I get a little bit hungry. And I gotta get out and cry.
Every now and then I get a little bit hairy and I feel them all taking your hands.
Turn around, brothers. Every now and then I fall apart.
Turn around, brothers. Every now and then I fall apart. And I need you now to hear her.
I need you more than ever.
Hold me tight.
We'll be holding on forever.
And we're only the patient here time.
Cause you'll never be wrong.
Together we can make it to this bonus. End of the line. Your love is like a shadow of me all the time.
All the time. I don't know what to do and I'm always alive.
I really need you tonight. Forever's gonna start tonight.
Forever's gonna stay tonight.
I was falling in love, but now I'm only crossing his heart.
There's nothing I can do. A total eclipse of the heart.
Once upon a time, there was hot in my heart.
But now there's only love in the dark. Nothing I can say. A total eclipse of the heart.
Jeremy spoken. It has to
Can't find a better girl.
Take us off, Ron.
umbrellas every now and then I fall apart. And I need you now tonight. And I need you more than ever. If you only hold me tight, then you hold me, we'll be holding on forever.
We'll only be making it right.
It will never be wrong.
Together we can make it to the hell of the high. The hell of the high.
I don't know what to do. I'm always in the dark. We're living in the power, living off the spark.
I really hate you tonight.
Forever's gonna start tonight. Forever's gonna start tonight.
I was following you there. I was tired.
There's nothing I can do. A total eclipse of the heart. Oh, heart.
Once upon a time there was light in my life.
But now there's only love in the dark.
That's what I can see. It's all the eclipse of her heart.
Total eclipse of the heart.
Turn around, this is my time.
Turn around, turn around,
Turn around and turn and turn and turn around.
turn around.
Turn around.
Ladies and gentlemen, dueling Eddie Vedder's total eclipse of the Eddie Vedder heart. I think when we go on the road, we need to end the show with that.
Yeah. Eddie Vedder doing Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Eddie Vedder, pure Vedder, just doing duets.
That would be an amazing. The Eddie Vedder duet ends the show.
End the whole show. That's how we end the whole show. All right. Oh, somebody said I feel dirtier than dirt. Oh, that's hilarious. Let me make sure I didn't miss any of the super chats before we go. Ron, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
This was really, where do we go? Where are they at? Thanks everybody, and thanks for the big donations. I will donate. So it was total of $200. So I will put $100 of that for Jacob Blake's GoFundMe and $100 for the Milwaukee Defense Fund. Make sure, like I said, the two people, it was Kelsey, Kylie.
Yeah.
And make sure me too, you email me at grahammelwoodshop@gmail.com. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, this was I love doing the show. Obviously we're talking about a lot of heavy stuff, but it's also good that we can talk about other things and laugh as well, because we can't let them take everything from us. All right, Ron, where can people follow you online and watch your show?
Oh, man. Check me out on Twitter at Ron Placone, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It is youtube.com/Ron Placone, and those are the best places to find me. I stream every Monday through Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern time. And then Thursday, I'm dropping another short video. You guys have been liking the roommate series, so I'm going to drop another one of those on Thursday. But please subscribe to my YouTube channel for all that. And for all things Ron Placone, which will eventually include tour dates someday over the rainbow, ronplacone.com.
No Vedder, no peace. Thank you, Adam, for that one.
Brilliant.
Thanks for supporting the show, folks. Go to grahamelwood.com. There's only a little bit of the Vigilante remaining. There's maybe a little more than 10 units left. I only made 50. So the store is going to be going on hiatus by the end of the week. So as I'm going on vacation. So yeah, support the show at grahamelwood.com. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Patreon, Rockfin, all that. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, folks. Rock and roll. Take care. Shave your knuckles for justice. Boom.